Hello, lads and lasses, boys and
Hello.
girls. Welcome back. Haley, you've got
Hello.
your stuff playing in the
Something bad
background.
is happening.
I have to
Attack,
quickly mute mine
attack.
as well.
Haley,
Exterminate.
you can hear
What have
yours
you-
in the
You just
Right,
mute it.
so I remembered it. Somebody's playing music.
Somebody's still going.
Right, Kel, I had to mute.
Here we go.
Basically, you can hear music in the background. So just
Yeah.
you can. I'll unmute you just to see.
Yep.
Yep.
That sounds very sort of like
I recognise
Like
that. It's
dance
someone's
pop.
theme
It's the
tune.
right day not to wear pants.
I don't know music, so I couldn't tell you.
we
that.
had the same issues when Darren and I were first starting to stream as well. Remember, we kept having like echo problems and things going in the background.
YouTube, Facebook for the weekends.
Somebody's listening to Dan as well. That's what the problem is.
That's what it was. I knew I recognised it.
That's what it is. Somebody's
I turned
listening to Dan.
That's weird. He just popped up because I'd put him on. I didn't realize he's on at the same time we are.
Yeah. And he's talking about Dread as well, so you're lucky we're here. We're lucky you're here.
Yes, I know. I was looking at that thing. I'll get that notified, and then I saw the time, and I thought, bummer.
My apologies.
Good luck, Jim.
That was me.
Yeah. But yeah, so tonight is going to be dedicated to this good old Scottish roots. Because a couple of the guys got a wee gift this morning, or yesterday it turned up. So
Mine turned up today.
brew!
Iron Brew, dude.
Somebody else has got keeping it aside for the Burns night. What?
Yeah.
So, I think
That'll probably be Smithers then.
Yeah. So it was just a wee thing that I saw, and I thought, unfortunately,
Thank you, PJ.
my US colleagues couldn't get them because it was far to ship. It was
yeah.
about 3 times the price of the thing to ship it.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
bet.
there's embargo in place, man. Yeah, shipping is rough from between the
Yeah.
continents.
Yeah.
You would have had a taste of Scotland. Iron Brew, caramel stuff. This is caramel log, caramel for use. People who
Oh,
like
yeah.
You spoke
Oh, I've
English.
got camel logs as well.
You got caramel wafers. You got caramel wafers, not logs.
I got camel wafers. Okay.
And
Those
you got-
sound appetizing. Yeah.
you got
I've never
turnip-
stepped in a camel wafer, but almost stepped in a camel log once.
Yeah. I've stepped in a
Sorry,
cow
I'm
wafer
sorry.
before.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Could be worse. It could
But
be
these
worse.
look amazing. These
Yeah.
look so good.
They are delicious.
I
The
love
snowballs,
caramel.
and my favourite out of that is the Tunnock's tea cakes. The Tunnock's tea cakes are beautiful.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I noticed they don't have any strawberry jam in them, which I'm normally used to for tea cakes down this way.
No. Just cream and chocolate coated.
Yeah.
Oh,
I finally had a tea cake. I bought them at my local British goods shop. They were wonderful.
yeah.
Except
The
I have
tea
to
cakes are
say,
nice.
what we have in the U.S. Is called a Malamar, and what they have in Canada is called
Malamars are delightful.
right.
Yeah.
And as tasty as the tea cake was, I'm used to the thicker layer of chocolate on the Malamar and the Whippet, and the more dense marshmallow. So I have to say I missed that.
I've been called the dense marshmallow before.
Malamar.
Yeah, we know.
Jim the Viking. The epic battle of technology. He's reigning his computer right now.
Well,
Mr. Hyde's a wee drunken wine.
so he's not alone.
Well, I went to the local Christmas fair today, and I did the raffles, and I did that, and I
Cool.
won a bottle of wine, which I don't think it's,
Well done.
and a bottle of bubble bath.
I don't even
Don't
want to
get the two
I got an image
mixed
in my
up.
head and I can't get it out now. And it's you covered in bubbles, your feet sticking out, the dog's in the tub with you. It's a little bit weird, but also a little bit okay.
And a bottle
Getting
and a
weird.
glass of iron brew. No problem. No.
Don't get them mixed up. Bubbles go in the bath and drink the wine, not the other way round.
Yeah.
What we got?
So it was to the Christmas fair. So
We got amazing people in the chat as always.
Yeah.
Tonight, thanks everybody. Grand Moff Miranda. We have our lovely panel, and we have Mr. Hyde's Pop Culture Express.
Yeah.
Hello,
Wendology
co-host.
person in there somewhere. From somewhere.
Yeah, I Wendology popped up somewhere. I don't know. You got to watch her.
Sketchy.
And sketchy character, the Darren Zone.
yeah.
We have
And we've
File
got
13.
And he's not happy about Willow. Not happy about Willow. And
Who
I'm
else
not
do we
surprised.
have? Yeah, that's everybody for the moment.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Lots of people seem not to be happy about Willow.
Dude.
Yeah.
I've been on the very...
Well,
yeah,
my wife-
I've
my wife's
sort of
down
only
in
seen
London
like a
at the moment.
few.
Yeah, my wife's down at London and she's away. She's through to Brighton at the moment, and she was at a Christmas market today, so she's enjoying that as well.
Oh, those are fun.
So Christmas markets are fun. I went to the wee Christmas fair, walked round and out in about 10 minutes. Just get in just to show face.
quick.
Go, hi, here's my details for all your raffles. Now I'm away. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to Christmas, but I'm definitely not watching any Christmas movies that are action movies set over Christmas. I'll watch an action
I
movie
don't-
set over Christmas.
I don't know what
I'll
you're
not watch
talking
a
about.
Christmas movie.
Is that
Welcome to the
Hey,
party,
PJ,
man.
is that your die? Is that a hill you're willing to die hard on?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. But
And not only will I die on, I'll die harder. But no, I enjoy the movies, but they're not Christmas movies. A movie set at Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
I would say
It does.
If it's got
I
a Christmas scene in it, then anything it goes over.
I shall challenge this.
Uh-huh.
The Doctor Who Christmas specials often have very little to do with Christmas. They're just set at Christmas, but they're called a Christmas special. Therefore, Die Hard is a Christmas
No. They're called a Christmas special because they used to always be on Christmas Day, so they were Christmas specials.
They always have a little bit of Christmas in them, though. A little
Very
bit,
little.
not a lot. But that makes them a Christmas special. It's the
But
same
no,
thing.
the
It's the same
reason
concept.
that was a Christmas special. If Die Hard was a movie that was released on Christmas every year on the TV, and it's always on Christmas Day, then you could say it's a Christmas movie because it's always released on Christmas Day. But just because something's set around the Christmas time, then any program that's got a Christmas scene in it, you would class it as a Christmas movie. So there's some movies that have got Easter, Halloween, they've got that. So what one would you class that in?
It's a general holiday movie. It's like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's both a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie.
I would say it's a Halloween, but yes, I understand the difference with that because they're aiming it between the two. But it's an
You're not going to
action movie.
stand down in this, are you?
Nope, it's an
never
action movie.
argue with a Scotsman. We'll be there all day.
Come up.
But if your wife's
Talk
not
about
there, then
Christmas movies that are not Christmas related. Put them up. Put them up.
See,
Your
he's
wife's
going
not there,
to
does
come
that mean you're
out
home
onto the
alone?
field soon, painted
I am,
blue with his
that's
kilt.
true. I'm home alone. So
Christmas!
yeah. I can honestly say this year I'm home alone at the moment. I'm in my todd, just me and the boys. Isn't that right?
oh,
That's a perfect
them
time
looking.
for you to watch Willow, PJ.
Oh no, I like the original Willow, and I've got Warwick Davis's TV show Life's Too Short, which is really good. Where he effectively is taking the mick out of himself. He's playing an exaggerated version of himself, and he's quite happy to make the jokes, the height jokes about himself and his world and things he has to do. And Warwick Davis is really good. He's got a quiz show on and stuff like that. He's really good, but no, would I touch this Willow?
Oh no,
After hearing what people have said about it, no, not enough.
So
And
you mean to tell me he's a bigger man than Peter Dinklage?
He's a bigger star than Peter
when
Dinklage.
when it comes to being sensitive about issues of height, of course. You know, I mean, I don't know why you laughed like that, Cal. I mean,
I'm just twisted. That's all.
See, the problem I have with
You're
a
in
lot
good
of movies
company.
nowadays is
I
it's
know,
not
it's
to
one of
do with the fact is it's a gay protagonist or a lesbian protagonist, whatever. I just 99% of the stuff I don't see why sex of any character is
No.
important. Judge
Doesn't
Dredd,
matter.
Yeah,
right?
just tell a good
The
story.
Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd.
File
They
13.
had the bit where Hershey kissed him at the end, and I thought, why the hell would they do that? That is irrelevant to the movie.
yeah.
And it's irrelevant because it's never happened in the comics. So why did they put a love story where Hershey suddenly is attracted to him? And I hated that as well. So that was a heterosexual relationship, and I hated that in it
Well, the
because
thing
it was
is-
irrelevant. It's
thing is-
irrelevant. If you've got a story where sexuality is part and parcel of it, then I can understand it. But if you're just putting it there just so you've got sexuality, don't see the point in it.
Well,
I want
Yeah,
to
well,
see
that's
the
it.
adventure.
It's
I don't want to see
tell a
the
good
sex.
story. End of.
Yeah.
What gets me is the really stupid thing is they say I'm such and such. Sexuality wise, I mean, obviously, I had more obvious characteristics, a bit different, but I don't feel represented. Okay, so all the lesbians and bisexual ladies watching Doctor Who season 10, season 12, 10, whichever one it was, could presumably
matter.
feel attracted to Bill, right? Because, but nobody else, automatically nobody else could, because you automatically knew she doesn't share my sexuality, therefore no possibility that. I mean, you know, I mean, yeah, I know I understand we're talking fiction, but
Yeah, if they're actually
if
saying
they
the only
don't-
reason you're watching it is because
Yeah.
she's a lesbian, then what they're saying is all heterosexual people won't watch it because they don't
no,
see
I mean,
themselves.
not even that, but I'm thinking about, okay, fine. So they do that, and if they're doing it for relationships, okay. As a heterosexual male, I can, in my head, say a connection with an involvement, a romantic involvement with any female character I see on screen, right? You know, my mind can say, okay, yeah, put myself in that position in the story. Oh, she's gay, no longer there. As long as I don't know what this person's sexuality is, that doesn't bother me. You know, I can see that sort of, you know what I'm saying? I can see that. As soon as you say, okay, this person represents this,
Yeah,
anybody who is not attracted to that specific sexuality, which is what we're talking about here, automatically loses that particular strand of interest.
yeah, but the reason that the thing I don't like about it is there he's there. He made it.
Jim's arrived.
Hey,
Hey, good evening.
Viking in vain.
Yeah, I know.
I
Let's
fought
go.
the giants of Silicon Valley and I won.
And
Your mic's a bit loud,
I think you sound like you're in
I
a
shall try
submarine,
and fix
Jim.
that.
right? It's just it was a wee bit booming.
Maybe he's rolling
booming
across the
Viking
fjord.
voice. Yeah, big booming Viking voice. Yeah.
It might be me just coming off the battle and trying to kind of calm down and not shout as much. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Berserkers, come on, you ain't want to live forever.
Yeah.
yes.
Anyway, we were talking about movies, but the problem is, based on their rules are, I can't see myself in it, so I can't watch it. Based on their own rules. So what they're saying is,
Seems a bit self-limiting, if you ask
of
me.
course
but-
it is.
little
If
bit.
they're saying that the reason they're putting certain characters in is because people don't see themselves, then what you're saying is you have to identify with that character. So if that's the case, I don't see myself in any movies, so I don't watch them.
Well,
Because
in that case, there's 6, 7 people on this panel who immediately have 2 reasons for not going to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We're not racist and we're not black. So we're not represented, so we can't see ourselves in it. So, and indeed, for the male members of the panel, we're not going to be represented as all our representation is going to be worse and bad guys anyway. So that's even worse. So,
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is by their own rules, then they're saying you can't watch it, it's not for you.
And
Yeah.
then you get upset.
It's crazy
Don't watch.
because some of my favourite characters, right? I know a lot of people crap on the Big Bang Theory. Some people don't like it.
Do they?
I liked it because apart from the science stuff, the rocket science and the engineering, I could associate with all of those guys.
Yeah.
And Jim Parsons is gay, but I
What?
didn't care. I
can't watch it anymore. You just
but
ruined the
that's the
show
thing,
for me,
but-
PJ.
He is
Yeah.
one of the best characters, and he's most annoying character, but that's what made him fun.
What do you mean he's gay? I can't watch it now. I mean, I've been rewatching the show for about a decade.
Yes, but that's the thing. I still rewatch it, but
We love
by their own rules, he shouldn't have got that part because they want gay people to portray gay characters. Straight people shouldn't. So if that's the case, then what they're saying is gay people can't portray straight characters. And his relationship with Amy Farrah Fowler was hilariously funny with the two of them. But they're effectively saying he shouldn't have got the part because if they're saying gay people can only play gay characters, then that means straight people can only play straight characters, and he wouldn't have got the part, which is stupid.
But the root of their argument is absolutely stupid because at the end of the day, it boils down to nobody that is like me. So whatever is gay, purple, green, orange man bad, whatever it is, has done this before. Therefore, I cannot do it. And I'm just going as like, hang on, Nikolai Tesla, Albert Einstein, Neil Armstrong, Elvis Presley, just to bring a few icons that have really brought humanity forward. Nobody did the stuff before they did it. And they did it so well, they're going down in history as memorable characters.
Right. Did anybody
Well,
here notice the difference in Jim's mic coming down there? Jim, would you like to speak? Because I think I adjusted your mic on stream. I didn't realise you could do it until there.
It was a little bit to mess around. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I
Yes.
turned it down a wee bit on the stream. StreamYards has got the option. I can mute you all, or I can turn your volume down if it's too loud. So I tried it. I just noticed because I was fiddling about, and it's because it was very booming. So I turned it down.
I'm glad you didn't kick me.
No. As
Jim,
if I would do that.
It sounds like it's maybe your computer mic and not your proper mic.
Yes.
It's all
does sound a
echoey.
bit
It's like
tinny.
the big room sound.
Yeah. I have the same issue when I use the mic on my camera. It's because it's tight to take quality.
Right.
It just is very boomy and echoey. So, arg.
So, because I do have the echo cancellation, automatically adjust mic volume.
Yeah, but don't automatically adjust it because you've just put the automatically adjust and it's went back up to boom. So if you take the automatic,
I just saw you took me off it. Okay, let's reduce the volume a little bit.
Right, I've just reduced it to 50%, and that should be it now.
So you're the one fighting it. It wasn't Silicon Valley. I'm fighting the Scottish.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. The Scottish and the Vikings, two sides of the same coin.
Right.
You know, any one of the two, you get hit with a hammer.
Do you remember I think it was a Monty Python sketch many years ago where they started off with there was something and it was the idea that it was a news article and something had happened in I think Norway and they were getting people's reactions to it and they start off with such, with people here, and they said, someone such who lives in the part of Scotland the nearest to Norway. I don't know, someone who is Saw who sounds like Norway, and they've got really stupid connections for why these people would have any interest in this story, just because it was in Norway.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because of the closeness. So you're not wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's why I don't watch a lot, because when they start off by giving me what they are, then all I think is don't care, ignore the rest. So I was looking forward to see what it was, but as soon as they started, they started talking about it, I realised I wasn't going to watch it, because they didn't tell us about the characters and the story. They started telling us about the people who were starring in it and what they were planning to do, and it just basically went off.
That's the alarm bell. Every time they do a show or a movie and they don't talk about the product, but they talk about the diversity of the characters and the representation, and this is the first time I've seen, you can go away, because
that's exactly
it's not for you. That's why I like what Judy has been saying, and I know we're walking into dangerous waters with Doctor Who, but he hasn't been talking about him.
Well,
He's been talking about Doctor Who.
That's what I was saying when we were talking to the father. Remember, basically we're talking about it. It doesn't matter how Shooty and that girl have got the chemistry and they talk about it. He's obviously he's just been a couple of things I've said. He's a fan of Doctor Who. But look what they did with Peter Capaldi, who was a fan of Doctor Who. They completely destroyed his character.
You're right. I know you're right.
And then it doesn't matter what Shooty is, because they're using him as a foil, because they're going on about the gay doctor. There's already people going on about the first gay doctor. No, he's the first character who's gay that we know about that played the Doctor. However, that doesn't make him a gay doctor. But Russell T Davies, the BBC and Disney are all using it to promote it, the first gay black character. So they're not actually telling you about the Doctor, they're telling you about his characteristics. He's not. He's basically talking about the show and what he'd like to do.
Same with Millie. He's doing the same
that's
thing.
exactly how it should be. But the problem is, it doesn't matter what he thinks, it's what everybody else is doing, and they're promoting it in a particular way. So even if he's good, I'll still not watch it because the way they're promoting it. Simple as that.
Well, so again, by their rules, again, they've now cut out all the Doctor Who fandom who are female, all of the Doctor Who fandom who are straight, all of the Doctor Who fandom who are non-black. Because by their rules, the only people who are going to be watching Doctor Who are gay black men.
And the women who are white and young.
How can a white woman see herself in a black man?
No, but she sees herself in the companion, so that's
what I'm saying. Right. So yeah.
But the thing is,
so Billy Piper lookalikes can see themselves in the. Yeah, okay.
They two together, when they're actually been talking, I've not hated any of them. I've just heard people saying how the two of them together seem to be enthusiastic about Doctor Who, and they were talking about Doctor Who and how things are going to be, and they've got good chemistry. But it doesn't matter how they are; it's how people are advertising the show, and they're effectively advertising the show saying first black gay doctor, and you're sitting there thinking, but that's not what it's about. He, as an actor, seems to be throwing himself into the part. Surprise, surprise, he's one of the few who seems not to actually care that the fact that he's black. He just cares that he's got the doctor role, but everybody else cares about that.
Jodie was opposite.
Hold on a second.
If Jodie was actually going on about being the doctor, I'm looking forward to this, but she didn't. She was going on about female and feminism and stuff like that. So she already turns around and says to, she didn't want the old white guys in it. So we were all out.
Yep. They opened up the gate. Jodie screwed it out the gate. Yeah. And he's not doing that, which
quite
is
literally.
And I know, but the problem is all the other stuff, and I'm just like, please don't destroy the show.
Hold on.
Even the transgender argument, which is a load of pants. I grew up watching Stanley Baxter, who used to do. He would go and drag and do female characters. We watched Danny LaRue, whose main character was female. His stage presence was female. What was it? Pauline Calf,
Lily Savage.
Then you had Steve Coogan used to do Pauline Calf. You've had other ones. The one that actually starred in that one I was telling you about.
David Tennant's dressed up as a woman.
Yeah, but there was also one about, it's called The Fan of the Tan, which was a Scottish one as well. It was about Sunbed Place. And the girl who was the star of it was a guy in drag. But you've got Mrs. Brown's Boys, a guy in drag. But guess what?
Pantomime.
We grew up watching these and enjoying it, even though, yes, we knew this person was gay. We watched it. We saw this person as a male dressed as a female. We watched it and loved it. We saw this coloured person, male or female, in it. Guess what? We didn't care. We loved it. And that's the problem. We grew up loving all these great shows. But now they're telling us we shouldn't love it because of our colour. And that is fucking nuts. I grew up watching Star Trek, the original Star Trek. Michelle Nichols, God, even as a teenager, she was just gorgeous. She was one of my first crushes. But now they're saying that should not allowed anymore. And that is crazy because you look at Star Trek, the original, you got Chekhov. Right, fair enough. He played a Russian. But you had Sulu, and who's an absolute fucking nutcase now.
Yeah.
But,
Oh my.
and then you had Michelle Nichols, you had Nurse Chapel. Guess what? We loved these characters. Yes, there was white males on the bridge, and yes, the white male in command. But it didn't stop us loving the side characters as much as the main character. And that's the part they forget. We love these characters irrelevant of their sexuality.
Where they came from.
Yeah, their colour or their sex. We didn't care. We just wanted good characters.
PJ,
I wanted bloody Wonder Woman when I was a kid watching Wonder Woman growing up. Who of us actually, when we were kids, watching Wonder Woman, weren't standing there spinning around going, whoo. I did that as a kid.
I loved
Does
Wonder
that make
Woman.
me suddenly I'm actually going to, somebody actually has to come a wee knife and go, give me a beer? You know what I mean? It's
PJ, you're forgetting though, you and I and Kelly, people of age, we grew up when the various movements for equality were in motion and were actually relevant. Right?
Yes.
We understood it. We understood that, yes, these nowadays they've won everywhere. They've got nothing to they've got no real inequality, so they have to manufacture them. That's the problem. They've won, they don't know what to do.
You're getting people, the worst part is you're getting celebrities who are multi-millionaires telling us how bad they've got it.
It's so hard for them. It's so hard. They're very oppressed.
So
They're very oppressed,
all
PJ.
that money, what
Look
can
at
they do
Meghan
with
and
it?
Harry.
And oh God, don't mention their name in my channel. You get booted. I'm a royalist, and fair enough. I'm a
instant ban.
I was already told I'm not a royalist. I'm a queenist. It's called. They're calling it because I grew up under
I'm the same.
Her Majesty the Queen.
How did you get out from underneath her?
Yeah, I'm still.
I'm sorry, that was bad. That was a bad American.
Yeah, I can see somebody getting bounced in about. You said, let's see, we've already been.
It started with Die Hard. Now it's with the Queen. I apologize. Stupid American.
The thing is, I don't care enough about Charles to care about anything about it. But the fact is, all this happened under Her Majesty the Queen, and then they're coming out going that we're that nasty that when she was ill, her grandson who loves her so much didn't go anywhere near her, and then got a wee bit annoyed because they didn't get the publicity when they went to the funeral, and they moaned about how they were sidelined because they wanted to leave the royals, but they wanted to be front and center. Well, you can't have both.
Will moan about anything.
Yeah, narcissists are basically just narcissists, no matter what. They're multi-millionaires and they're complaining about being hard
he
up.
grew up with, regardless of it being within the royal family. He got so soaked into this kind of wave that happened just as I started leaving school. And I'm a couple of years older. So I did see it in school. And it's like, I didn't behave that way when I was going through that bulk of classes. I respected the teachers and everything, and suddenly I'm seeing kids smoking literally in the hallways of the school.
Oh God!
And-
Did you
and
not see
it's-
the one
and
about
it's-
the person that
they
got beat up?
literally
The
just-
teacher who got beat up with a student because and they lax the punishments. So the students are now punching out teachers because they know they'll get if they're unlucky they'll get a week suspension. Really?
If
If
they're lucky, they
You
get
beat
2
up the
weeks.
kid and you're getting sent home for a week. Oh, that's really punishment. The kids actually think that's a bad thing.
It's the unraveling of society and
Of course
social
it is.
norms. As soon as you pull out social norms, anything goes. And now you have people shitting on the streets of San Francisco and needles and really all the horrible things.
People walking
that
into a
shouldn't
shop with a
be.
bag and just filling the stuff off the shelf and walking out, and nobody can
Yep.
stop them. They're not allowed to. So that you can hire security, but the security's
That's
not
Tom.
allowed to do anything to
It's
them.
the household god.
It's just nuts. The world is coming to an end. Please come, meteor. Here we go. Here we go, meteor.
Oh, I know. I am waiting for Smod, man. Sweet meteor of death. Bring it on.
Yep.
It's I mean, Miranda and I have talked about this. It's one of the good things about being old is that we don't have to care.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yes, you're right, Kelly. I'm sitting there. I don't have a watch anymore. I'm actually got a calendar going. Another day I survived. Another day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm old. I'm diabetic, so I've got maybe, if I'm lucky, another couple of years in me.
Oh, you're younger than I am.
Right, but I'm using my diabetes to actually inflate it, so I'm actually ahead of you in that one.
Do we have I was going to say we've got Roman for another 25 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And I think
Roman,
he's got a pick of the week.
Yes, let's go.
I'm
You
sorry.
pick of the week. Right, hold on.
I'm a slave to Christmas today.
Yes, hold on.
Pick of the week. For Roman.
Here.
All right. So I got a package in the mail. Here's the knife. The knife is not the pick of the week. This is not the pick of the week. Okay. So I've got my package, which I have to be careful not to show the address on, so I don't dox myself or the or my good friend Mr. AWK. I was so excited, so excited to get something from Royal Mail. And,
keep that postage stamp because that's the Queen on it, and eventually it will change from ER2 to C.
Oh, to the young feller.
Yep.
T3R.
And in said package, we have it is the ultimate Cockney teacher's guide to rhyming slang.
Rhyming slang.
An apple tart. Do you think I give a Jonathan Ross? I don't. This is Alex's nice way of making fun of me, I think, because I get confused on the show quite often.
It's a translation book, so you can understand what Alex says.
Oh,
There's
dear.
one.
I open it immediately to a Bob Beeman. I don't even want to say what it is. Wow, Bob Dylan is a villain. Bob Hope, dope. Bob Marley, Charlie, cocaine. So
yeah,
these are all good. A cream cookie is a bookie. A bookie, right. I'm assuming it means the same thing in your land. Someone who you're running bets through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we go to the bookies on the street. We can go into the bookies in the street or like that. But yeah, you also got cream cracker. There's another one for you.
Cream crackers are the boys.
I bet you can also be cream cracker.
I don't want to be cream crackered, whatever that is. I don't want it to happen to me.
You mean Jacob's crackers?
Cream cracker is knackered.
Yeah.
Why is custard and jelly telly, which is a telephone? Why? What does
custard and jelly is a pudding. It's rhyming slang.
Oh, it's okay. I'm a moron. Please forgive me. custard and
I
kiss
think,
means
Alex,
piss.
there has to be a stream where
I'm not
Roman
certain that
reads
this
through
book has
that
made
book.
Roman
and then
Yes,
you
he's
have
got
to
to.
explain it.
He's got to.
There has to be a stream where you're reading through that book where we're actually correcting you.
Can you imagine a dramatic reading of that book?
I am going to compose my next entry into the show entirely from this book, and we'll see how it goes. Because I'm a ham shanks. I'm a ham shanks.
Aye. You're a ham shank.
Ham shanks means yanks. Oh, that's so good. Handsome cabs means crabs and not the kind you eat, kids. If my boy goes out on a date, I have to tell him not to get the handsome cab.
Don't get any handsome cabs, man.
What I'm going to dig out is for the book. See, when you actually come on with that, I'm going to dig out the patter, which is Glasgow rhyming slang.
We also have one in Wales, and the sort of colloquial language is called, well, the cross between Welsh and English, Wenglish, and it's the Welshisms, same thing.
Same thing. So,
So
we've got
when-
one called the patter.
When PJ says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, I say he's a Jarvis Cocker. No, again, what the fuck? I'm sorry. KY Jelly also Telly?
Yes.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Well, with the KY jelly, it could also be sore.
Oh,
Moving
Lord.
on.
Remember the frog? Bog?
Aye.
Which is a toilet. For those of you who don't know, I've got to go hit Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
That's
as bad as saying you got to go down to Percy Porcelain.
Oh, the Queen Mum means bum. That seems very disrespectful. Queen Vic, thick, as in thick, meaning stupid. See, you have to have translations for the translations. Oh, it's so good. Sebastian Coes is toes. My what? Mrs. of the Empire is gonna hate you for this, Mr. AWK, because I am so good at it. I am gonna study this.
There you go. There's one for you.
I'm off to the Kermit. Is it Kermit the Frog? No, yes. Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog. Bog.
See, that's
What
the thing.
Bog? What
See,
the fuck?
that, Roman, that's the thing. Like, for instance, it's rhyming slang, but you can cut it down. So I'm off to the Kermit because
that's
frog is bog.
nice to
you don't
know.
need to say, so you can cut out certain words. Like, I'm off to the Kermit. You don't need to say Kermit frog to mean bog.
There are a couple here that are really, these are alarming. So, fainting fits. I'm not even going to say.
That's when you've had too much chili, I'm guessing.
False start actually makes sense. False start is fart. So I get that. I get that. Fanny Blair means hair, but not this hair. Why are you talking about this? Who has these conversations?
Oh my god, I'm starting to get in pain now.
It's the Fanny Blair match. I'm kind of
I'm
curious.
in pain.
See, the thing is, Roman, do you know where rhyming slang started? It was because the police would monitor the conversations in pubs and the things like that. So that when people were talking about crime, then they actually started using rhyming slang to supersede the fact that if somebody was overhearing, if they didn't understand them. That's
and I can and I get that. George Michael, really? George Michael? That's not good. Well, let's find a couple more here because this is the best thing ever. Again, What's it? Maria Monk? Spunk? What's wrong with you people? Marble halls. Again, you've got like several things for the boys. Marble halls. Oh, my marble halls have the handsome cab.
See, the thing is, there you go, Roman. Marble.
Oh my God.
Marble halls. So you would, if somebody actually wanted to see you were going to get a boot in the marbles, and it's things like that. You can cut it short. So it is that boot is going to actually give you nights and nights of your life going, what?
I think I found my favorite. It's. I don't have currently a September morn. And next to it says horn, and then it has the proper translation. Again, why do you need slang for that? In what context are you talking? We're worried about the police hearing about this.
The good thing is you can actually talk about anything on YouTube without anybody understanding what you're saying.
Not even the YouTube algorithm will get you on this one.
This one I find offensive personally. Septic tank also means yank. What the fuck, guys? Really? That's unkind.
Sorry, I was laughing too hard. What was that last one?
Septic
tank means yank.
Oh dear God.
Oh, Stevie Wonder. Chunder. Vomit.
That's an Australianism, that is.
That is an Australian chunder. Yeah.
Oh, Stevie Nicks flicks. Okay, that's fine. That's all right. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, hang on. I know. It's these are so good though.
There you go, Alec. Give him one. You're going up the apples and pears for a tam shank.
Apples and pears. Apples and pears. Oh, there it is.
It means
you go up the stairs. This is great. I didn't get the. Ants and decks. I can't even say it on the air.
I know who Ant and Deck
The second
are.
word is sex. Lord, you crazy kids. Anti-cap. Anti-cap. I've got to go anti-cap on Kermit the Frog. Is that right? That sounds weird.
Andy Cap is a cartoon character, so that's where that comes from.
Anti-cap.
Aye, so Andy Cap was a cartoon character.
I'm dying.
Anti-cap.
It was I
am dying.
Kermit the Frog. That's not right. That's
So Roman, you gotta tell Mrs. of the Empire that she is your trouble and strife.
Yes.
And she is. She's my trouble and strife. Honey, you're my trouble and strife. And then I get Andy capped, I think.
Yeah. Andy capped in the American sense.
Andy capped in the
Oh, this is so weird.
You obviously like that book, Roman.
This is great.
This is the best.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's definitely the best pick we've had.
Oh wow, this is just really this is fantastic. Oh dear, grandfather clock.
Yes.
Oh no, growl and grunt goes with your grandfather clock, I guess. Oh my. Gypsy's kiss. So you can Gypsy's kiss also with Kermit the Frog while you're having an Andy cap. Is it too much? I think I have a lot of toilet humor here. I apologize.
Unless you're standing up, you definitely need a grandfather for that one.
But not if you have an early morning. It just gets messy.
And yes, people, we will still have an English translation of all this on the next.
It must have to be after the watershed, though.
Eggman City?
God.
Oh dear. Oh, that's not nice. Elephant and Castle means arsehole. He's a real elephant and castle.
Yeah, isn't there a pub?
Yeah, there is a real elephant and castle in
That's
London.
a real area of the elephant castle.
You go round the one
Jim
and up the other.
Davidson was actually in a TV show called Up the Elephant and Round the Castle.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, Eartha Kitt. All right, that seems kind of cruel to Eartha Kitt. Means shit.
Hey, we've
Yeah.
got the Queen Mum. We've got the
This is
Queen
also
Mum.
East India. East India Docks means pox. Oh goodness gracious, that seems cruel.
Now, is this monkey pox or any other kind of pox?
I think just any kind of pox. It seems like it's a generic pox.
Just curious.
No, it's important to know.
I
Dipstick.
thought that'd been renamed.
Dipstick is too easy. Because it means pretty much what you think it is. Oh goodness gracious. Wow. You guys, this hurts. Divine Brown. Really? Oh wow. Let's see what else we cuddle and kiss. No, it means to piss. You guys have a lot of terms for restroom stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's important
Because you're not
let me do
impolite to talk toilet when you're actually in good company. So
Ooh,
you can go for
cream,
a Kermit anytime.
and you also have a lot of terms for the cream crackers, which also means the boys. This is the third one we found for the boys. Well, this is just marvelous. So, thank you so much,
No problem.
Alex. This may be the best thing I've ever received.
I'd like to see you do a whole stream translating that.
This is lovely.
Don't forget to show John it. If he
I will, and he'll look at me. He'll make that face he always does, which is also it's his happy face, his sad face, it's in his angry face, same face.
I think you'll find the challenge with that once he starts getting into this book.
Wow.
Good thing is you can both actually have your own words for things, and they both mean the same thing.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't so. Fit and spasm could happen at the flea and louse.
Oh dear.
But you guys are gonna have to put these together. I can't. These are things I feel bad saying out loud. It means you're going to a house of ill repute and having a moment. With your I've lost one of my many terms for the boys. The cream and crackers.
Cream cracker, yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh no, a Forrest Gump.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God.
Then you know why we like movie references quite a lot.
Roman, put the book down.
I'll put the book down.
Step away.
You're going to be falling
You realise, Alec, if you need any more, you're actually going to be done for manslaughter.
Roman, did you get the Christmas card? No problem.
I did. I got a card. I got the card as well. So
show him.
All right. Jeez, I may need to go to the doctor. And this is the first time I've opened any of this. So this is kind of funny because I just posted this to the Twitter the other day. I was putting up the Christmas lights, and so it says on the front. I don't know if you want to blow it up here again, PJ. I'm sorry, I'm occupying so much time. So I don't know if you can see it. So it's a gentleman stuck on the house there. Yeah, and it says he's outside putting up the lights. I offered to help, but no, apparently I just get in the way. So this will be me and my son Jake of the Empire whenever it's time to do this, and so. And then, of course, to Roman and family, Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year from Alex and family. Alex, thank you so much for the card and the book. That's just fantastic. Thank you so much. It means a great deal to me. It's going to mean an awful lot to Mrs. of the Empire soon too.
Yeah. I got my Christmas card from Alex too, and it's got a wee poem on it. So it's a wee Santa Claus in the chimney, and it's got a Christmas poem, a very nice Christmas poem. Santa is in the chimney pot. He's well and truly stuck. But having got my presents now, I couldn't give a rude card to you.
Oh, that's brilliant, Alex.
Well done.
Alex has got a wee bit of a sense of humour.
Hold on, Steve, I'll sense, as Stephen ain't here, I'm going to bring up the picture of the card I sent him.
I was just actually looking at file 13 says,
yes,
I thought I was watching a commercial about erectile dysfunction. Turned out to be the new Indiana Jones trailer. I thought he was talking about our stream for a minute.
Right, I just share this for a minute. Not on big screen, I'm just second screen.
Okay. There you go.
Right, so this is what I sent to Steve. Sorry for the address.
You realise it's got his address on it?
I know, but not all of it. Right.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll try and sort out the picture.
Sorry, Roman. I clicked the wrong one. Try to get that off the screen.
Yeah.
Cut that couple of seconds out of the tape.
Yeah, I think I'll need to go in and edit it.
Damn bloody computer. Right, just give me a second.
So 52 minutes, then I'll need to cut that couple of seconds out.
That's fine. All right,
I've actually set it up properly this time. A, I got the intro on. B, I've already put it on slow mode, and you have to be subbed to chat, which means we shouldn't get any porno.
Yay.
And so
what?
Yeah, I know it's a couple of views gone, but what can I do?
Except for Roman reading out
their national front.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but if I want to see the national front, I'll just actually watch stand-up Virgin Soldiers or strikes.
Right, he's just giving me more time with this.
Problem is that I'm trying to get this picture sorted, but
see if you just click on it and edit it on in
that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. It's not just that; it's just Twitter won't let you save pictures for some weird reason.
Well, it's being a real pogo stick.
Oh yes, it is. Put the book down, Roman.
Hey, can he? I'm going to actually send him the Scottish one.
You're going to have the whole set, Roman. I'll have to send you the Welsh one.
Oh my god. This is the best.
Now all we need, because he's American, he'll have the English one, the Scottish one, and the Welsh one. We need to find an Irishman.
Yes.
As long as the whole the whole region is represented, and I don't get the pony and trap.
Oh dear.
Now this one's actually the slang is worse than the thing. So I'm gonna use a word. So Pompey horror means 24.
Now that one I've never heard before, because I think
is what the Navy referred to Portsmouth.
Oh, among Portsmouth sailors. Yeah.
Yes.
Who knew? Probably when they were getting the pony and trap.
Well, not just Portsmouth is known as Pompey to people that live down there, because it's the home of the Royal Navy, and obviously soldiers.
Yeah. Soldiers and sailors are known to be. They had a reputation for going for ladies of the night, hence the reason Pompey horse.
To have the posh and Becks and then get the pony and trap.
Right. Here it is.
We froze here.
Tell the reindeers it will give in to all their demands. They can fall off the fight. See, boys, you've
Dogs
got
are
a job.
unreliable.
Hey,
Yeah.
huskies don't do that.
See, boys, you've got a job for Christmas. The two of them are lying there sleeping, not even actually paying any attention. I should have realised giving them treats before I start probably works a hell of a lot better than actually telling them to sit. And they just get a treat and go, like I do. But there you go. So, Roman, what have you been watching?
All right. Well, before the trouble and strife calls me out, so ooh, man, you guys can't. Yeah, you can't do that to me before my exit. So we did our big show on Thursday with Space Seed and Wrath of Khan, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that went
I
over very
managed to
well.
stay up for a wee while for that one.
You did. I was like, oh my God, PJ's out there. This week coming up, I don't think we're doing a Monday, but I'm not 100% sure. John kind of threw it at me last week, and I didn't know what was going on. I got confused and a little frightened. But next Thursday, I'm going to do at 5 Pacific Standard. I'm going to do a Christmas show. It's going to be our favorite Christmas movies and shows. So
need I Hard.
Like,
what day of the week?
I can't guarantee it. So that's going to be. What was that?
What day?
On Thursday, next Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard. So that's going to be
If
more
you're
of a
in the
lighthearted
UK,
show.
that is a Friday at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And then just for planning purposes, for those of you who do such things, the following Thursday is going to be Search for Spock. So a continuation of the Star Trek series. And let's see, I think that's it. Next Friday, if I don't see you guys midweek because I got in trouble this week, is Mrs. of the Empire and I's 33rd anniversary. So a long time.
Bravo.
She's a very tolerant woman. So that's pretty much all I've got in the pipe for right now. Thanks for having me on today, and thank you again for this. This is so good. And
Mrs. of the Empire might not appreciate it.
I'm not sure. We'll see
if it
how
goes
it goes.
Missing, I think we'll know what happened.
if I'm not here next week, you'll go, trouble and strife.
It was
trouble and
I think we might have to introduce Roman to Chaz and Dave because that's
yes.
What is that another slang term? Chaz and Dave?
No, Chaz and Dave is a double act who did a lot of Cockney rhyme and slang songs.
Oh, got it.
Look up Chaz and Dave and Rabbit. That'll do you next time you get a chance. Chaz and Dave and Rabbit.
Because I need more.
It's got more rabbit than Sainsbury's.
Yep.
Oh dear God. All right, guys. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish with the Christmas. I'll send some pictures so you guys can see. Got some Doctor Who stuff I'm gonna be putting up and everything. So anyway, this was a lot of fun. More fun than it probably should have been. So I'll see you guys around the interwebs.
Take care,
Have a great
Roman.
rest of your stream.
Take care, Roman.
You too.
Take care.
Take care, Roman.
Happy anniversary.
Have a good one.
Happy anniversary when it comes.
Appreciate it.
Oh man, that was
Right.
funny.
Now we can.
That was great.
Calm down.
I'm in actual pain.
Yeah, that was
Right.
hilarious.
That was funny.
I'm going to dig out the part. I've got 2 copies of the part, so I think Roman's going to get a copy of the part and get him to actually open it just at the beginning of the stream again and let's see what he does with that one. Right, but he has to do it with a Scottish accent.
Oh dear.
So, what's everybody been up to? What have they been watching? Anything fun?
We have I watched something that Mr. Hyde put up a link to, and it's called Two Fisted Tales. It's a 1992 TV series. It was kind of like, well, there were 3 stories in the one link to the video he shared, and I gotta tell you, the cast in it, unbelievable cast. Kirk Douglas. Can I just say Kirk Douglas in the cast of one of the stories, and it's called Two Fisted Tales, 1992 TV show. I'm just bringing up the wiki on that. The other thing we've been watching is one of our favorite YouTube channels is called the Grim Life Collective, and they've had a couple of new videos go up. We're watching Supernatural season 7, and we've also been working our way through The Prisoner as well.
Very good. Very, very, very different. All very different.
Yes, very different.
Yeah. I get caught up with one. I watch it from beginning to end, and I very rarely go flip. And it's terrible because there's so many things I want to watch in one week, and if I get caught in one thing, it takes me all the way through.
This keyboard is weird. Yeah. This keyboard's going haywire.
Well, I watched the Troll movie the other night.
Yeah, so Miranda did as well.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good. So I've got my own nitpicks about it, as I said to Jim over the phone. But I think I might have to give it a second watch.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you watch it without your critical review eyes in, you're basically, it's more enjoyable. It's once you start looking at it through the reviewing eyes and you're very critical of it, it doesn't matter if it's something small. You can pick up on things, and it makes it a bit more annoying.
Yeah.
I found that out with rewatching a lot of my favourites and picking out wee things when I'm reviewing them, and I think, didn't watch that.
There was this one scene at the beginning of the movie where the troll not like makes its appearance, but it comes out of a mountain, and you've got these protesters outside a tunnel, and they haven't got a clue what's coming next. And I thought, and they had to bring up Greta Thunberg in it, so they called Greta because. And they're all thinking the wrong thing, and then you think it, and someone's going, "No, it's a giant troll, for Christ's sake."
I will say this though: these protesters against the tunnel digging, they actually look like they do eat meat.
That's the one thing about troll. Anything with trolls or giants. They never. The only reason I know they don't make sense is because they always seem to have them as some type of meat eater, and you're sitting there thinking something that size. People didn't notice about something that size. How much it would need to eat. Somebody didn't notice all these things disappearing.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is that they've kept it open for a sequel.
Good, but they do that now. They don't take things individually. They always leave things open for a sequel, so which is to me is one of the worst parts. They should actually just think about the movie they're doing, not the possibility of the next movie. Because sometimes they'll leave good things out because they might get a second movie and they want to put that in there. But I'm glad it's a good movie, even though the dubbing's a wee bit off.
Yeah, it's a shame it wasn't in the cinema. But it's just a fun movie. It's just a fun movie to watch. And I haven't seen the budget for it yet, but at least it's not a major Hollywood blockbuster. It's something you can watch.
Yeah, it came out of Europe, didn't it? It was
Norway.
Netherlands, Norway.
Norway.
Well, that's ideal. That's perfect. That's what you want. You want something that's not Hollywood, because if it's Hollywood, then the troll would be the actual hero, and it would be a representative of the climate, and it would be showing everybody trying to kill it, and how one or two people save it and actually set it free. So
I'm gonna say this: Hollywood, do not remake this movie. never remake this movie.
Okay, Hollywood will do. Look what they did with Godzilla. They made this Godzilla movie that didn't look like Godzilla. It just had the name, and then they killed it off on a bridge because it was not tall enough to actually. Then they remade it properly with the Godzilla. It looked good, but all the other monsters just look stupid.
I found this. I found a quick write-up on Two-Fisted Tales. It says it's a 1992 American made-for-TV anthology horror film consisting of 3 separate segments based on the EC Comics publication Two-Fisted Tales. Only one of the stories is actually adapted from a story appearing in an issue of EC Comics. But of the 3 stories, the first one, called Showdown, has none other than David Morse. And I was trying to think what else. Who was the other big actor I saw in that? Probably others. David Morse really stood out in that one. He's a very familiar face. If you Google him, you'll recognize his face. He's been in a lot of different things. He was also in the big medical TV drama series St. Elsewhere back in the early 80s. The second story was called King of the Road. And wait for it. We had Brad Pitt, a very young Brad Pitt in that one. And then you also had, what's this actor? Raymond J. Barry, American actor, American film, television, and stage, nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Male. And then in the third and final story, I mean, the cast in this one, it blew me away. You had Kirk Douglas, Eric Douglas, Lance Henriksen, Dan Aykroyd, and many other sort of supporting actors. But the production behind this, it starts to make sense when you get a sense of the production behind it. It was adapted for a TV pilot by producer Joel Silver, Richard Donner, Robert Zemeckis, and others.
Richard Donner as well. Christ,
and Robert Zemeckis, who, those names, and Joel Silver, Hollywood Gold.
Did I not see Darren McGavin's name on the list as well on IMDb?
I didn't catch him in any of these. I would have recognized him unless I just missed him. But the interesting thing too, it says 2 of the stories, Showdown, written by Frank Darabont, who also was behind the adaptation of the early The Walking Dead TV series, and directed by Richard Donner. And King of the Road is written by Randall Johnson and directed by Tom Holland. It just like a really fascinating anthology. It's something very different than what you might have seen before if you haven't seen it already. So I can highly recommend that. It's very almost to the point of being like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like really brutal. It's like really, it doesn't hold anything back on the gore or anything like that. So it's quite interesting.
Sounds ideal.
I started watching it and I thought I'll see if I like this, and then I just couldn't stop it. I watched all 3, one right after the other.
You want to send me the link? If it's
I will.
on YouTube?
I will. Yeah.
Apparently, all 3 segments are in Tales from the Crypt as well. So.
Yeah, it's one I had never heard of.
Do you know, I was watching, and I've watched it multiple times, and it was only because the father mentioned it. He showed a bit about one of the sketches from it, the Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah,
I rewatched.
I've heard of that.
The amount of big names in it. Yeah, I mean, Bill Bixby's in it doing a wee skit. There's a few others. There's George Lazenby is in it for doing a wee part in it as well. Yeah, James Lazenby's in it as an architect in a skit in the Kentucky Fried Movie, and I hadn't noticed it. It was only when I was watching it for clipping, I realised how many people were actually in it that I probably didn't even realise at the time when I watched it, because I hadn't seen it for years. But it was so knowledgeable, it was so memorable, that when the father put the clip on, I recognised the clip he was putting on, even though he had to mute one part. It was about the guy who lived in for danger, puts all the outfit on and stands in the middle of a bunch of black guys and shouts a bad word.
I know.
That one, and the father had to actually mute that one part. But so when I was clipping it, I made sure I didn't clip that part, because I'm not having that in my channel. So, but I know it was done for humour, and it's not as if he actually just did it to a bunch of guys. The guys were already actors and knew what was happening. They've obviously been told that this is going to happen before you get the part, because it's not a nice thing. But it was done with humour, and that's the thing. It was done with humour, so
Yeah.
I agree with that. And because it was shown that the guy was actually thinking it was proper, he knew it was dangerous to say it, so he did it.
Yeah.
He all dressed
That
up.
was the whole point, wasn't it?
So when the father was showing that clip, as soon as the clip started, I knew exactly where it's from. So there's a lot in the Kentucky Fried movie I remembered from, but it was the silly bits, like so and so creating her first dramatic role, and she's rolling down the hill, and it's more sexy than this, and it's the girl walks up to the guy, very seductive, and says, "Show me your nuts," and goes, and it's that type of thing. So I like that type of humour in it, and so I rewatched it again. Although I did rewatch the Catholic School Girls in Trouble bit as well. So, but that's a Kentucky Fried movie, and I've clipped some bits out, some of the funnier bits, for later on this month. I'm actually a wee bit behind. I'm usually about 3 months ahead, and I'm only a month ahead at the moment. So, need to do a bit of work over the Christmas holidays to get it sorted. Right. Okay, right. I'll need to get that. How do I copy that? I can't copy it. You want to put it in the private chat? It's easier. Is that it in the private chat? Right. You sent in something in the private chat.
In case anybody wants to see it, I've dropped it in the private chat as well.
I've got it in the private chat, yeah. Two Fisted Tales, 1992 TV.
It's well worth a watch. Very, very,
ideal.
Very good. Very gritty.
Yeah. Well, it sounds ideal. So
it almost has a bit of a Tarantino-esque feel to it to me.
Yeah. I've just been watching my wife's away, so I've been watching just some weirder stuff that I have enjoyed in the past, and I rewatched it. Stand Up Virgin Soldiers. I watched The Transporter 1, 2, and 3 again. I don't know why, because it's just like the fight sequences and then the stories I don't care about. I just usually clip it forward, watch the fight sequences, and clip it as well. But there was one called PCU, and I couldn't even watch it. I remember watching it in the past, and I thought it was a bit weird at the time, because it was all about political correct university. It was about a guy going to see all these, and they had every political correct thing, which is happening in universities now, then, and it was all done for fun. But even they were annoying at the time. Yeah, I mean, so you had all the feminist die-hard lesbians. You had the groups about race. Then you had the ones about freedom of the earth, and you had the ones about anti-meat, and it had all the different groups. But the groups would change all the time, because there was a new fad in the next week, and then the next week, and it was all about that, and it was taking the mickey out of it. But it was just one of those things, you're just sitting there watching it and thinking, that's happening now, and it's not as funny as now anymore, because you see it happening in universities. So it's not taking the mickey out of universities. All it's doing is showing you the universities. So I watched that. That was a weird one, PCU. Anybody seen that one? Any of these? It's the typical. I think they were going down the route of being very like American Pie type thing, but it was nearly more crude humor. It was just humor at the PC brigade. But unfortunately, when it actually all comes to be true, then it's not so much fun.
Yeah.
So
I can hear Darren laughing at something in the living room, and it's just making me smile.
Wonder if he's watching the stream back.
I'm wondering if he's watching the stream back. Yeah, because he's
I-
absolutely howling.
I'm not surprised. I am
What the
definitely.
shit,
I've got 2 copies of the patter, and I definitely need to send Roman one out. If he's had that reaction to that, I want to see what he does with the Scottish one. In all fairness, he'll probably not understand the words as much.
One of my favorite Welshisms is Popty Ping, which is the same. Popty Ping, the microwave.
Oh.
Put in the Popty Ping. It's more of it's a regional thing. I don't hear it much around here, but it's from Gavin and Stacey. It was one of the ones that they use in that. And if you want to have a bit of fun, very, very funny show. If you haven't seen it, most people in the UK have seen it, but if Julie, if you ever get a chance to see that, that's well worth watching.
I actually own season 1. I don't know.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, there you go.
No clue when I bought it. I just somehow managed to have it. And I believe it's on BritBox here in the US, so I could be watching it.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's great fun. It's great fun. It's very well observed, very lighthearted.
There you go. Has anybody seen the Lost Room series? I think I did. That's the one where the Lost Room, and there's items they have to find to put back in the room, and they're trying to get them like the comb. When the guy actually brushes his hair with the comb, it basically pauses the world for something like 9 seconds. So if he's trying to get away from someone, he uses the comb and then runs. And so when it looks like he disappears, but he's effectively, it pauses time, he runs away, and then they can't find him. The Lost Room, I saw bits of it. I don't think I saw all. Was it not 3 episodes? I've got it somewhere. I need to actually rewatch that. That was actually quite good if it's the same one I was thinking. Jacob, tell if it's the same one. Who's going to bed?
Somebody's going to bed.
My little brother, just waiting a mic for a minute.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
6 episodes going to IMDb.
6, right? Okay, I've got it somewhere, but I thought there was only 3. Right, scenes we did it for Roman Ellie. Anybody else got a pick of the week?
Nope.
Right.
I've got lots of picks of the week, but we'll be here all day because a certain somebody sent me some lovely things. I need to go get them though. So
yeah, well, I'll do the pick of the week just now.
Okay.
Because
We haven't seen them yet.
Eh? So my picks of the week, I'll do the DVDs first. And I'll try and hide them so you can't see them because of the camera angle.
Mhm.
Well, I picked up that one.
Nice.
Patrick Swayze Roadhouse. I saw that. I've seen that a couple of times, and I actually, every time I see it, it changes my attitude towards it, because the very first time I saw it, I just thought, it was just one of those movies you think, I was okay, but nothing special. Second time I watched it, it's a bit more manly. Then the third time, it just gets a wee bit better each time. Next one I got was that one there, Equilibrium. I quite enjoyed that with the gun kata and stuff like that. So it's almost it's a totalitarian world, and I don't think they're called priests in it, but in effect, the police state has got these specialists in the practice gun kata. So you see them when they're actually shooting. They always, for some reason, the gun kata is all about getting 365 degrees. So in effect, if they're shooting someone, they have to get in the middle of them. So there's too much contriving about all these guys suddenly standing around with he walks in the middle and starts using this gun kata because it looks cool to actually shoot them. But it's an okay movie. It's about the policeman who actually stops taking the pills to control him, and he basically starts helping the freedom fighters. So I quite like that.
There is one in a similar vein, and funnily enough, it's called Priest.
Yeah, that's why I think I'm getting the two of them are very similar. Priest, but this one's it's all about handguns, and so they use the gun kata, but it's very like that one, Priest. So it is. And one I picked up is the Zombie Diaries. I've
Oh,
not
no,
seen
that's an
it, but
interesting title.
yeah, The Zombie Diaries, the best UK horror film of the year. It says dark, uncomprising, and frighteningly real. So, although the name makes it sound more of a bit of a comedy, it's accordingly a bloody powerhouse of horror movie, the most realistic zombie movie ever made.
Ew.
That's a big boast. That's
That
a
is a big
big boast.
especially for a horror. So,
And how do they know it's
What?
realistic?
Zombies, they don't really exist. It's a very short movie.
yeah. Next one I picked up was The Last Dragon.
I've heard of that one.
I've not heard of that one. The only one I remember about The Last Dragon was the one with Sean Connery in it. Remember Dragonheart?
Dennis Quaid as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know that one.
Oh, then
So
it's
I've not, this one I picked it up just because it had a dragon, and the dragon looks like my wee dragon light I've got up on my shelf. So I thought it's got a dragon in it, so it
I
can't
love
be all bad.
dragons.
Then I picked up The Fallen.
Oh, wonderful.
Second World War movie.
Mm.
There are three sides in every war story: theirs, ours, and the truth. That could be anything. Saving Private Ryan, but even
his version of truth.
it's typical DVD, right? The headline there is Saving Private Ryan, but even better. So they're basically, I like the fact that they boast.
When did that come out? Because that's a Babylon 5 quote. Truth is a three-edged. It's either Minbari or Vaughan. Truth is a three-edged sword.
It was in Minbari. It was in Minbari because they always do things in
Colin. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Minbari because they always do things in threes.
Yeah, Minbari always did things in threes, which okay. It's a whole different. Adds a whole different light to Sheridan's wedding night.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to actually check that in IMDb, the date on it. But I think it's actually 2016, 2015, maybe.
There's a 2004, 2021, and a 1985.
Right, I'll be able to see.
For The Last Dragon that I can see on here.
Oh, sorry, The Last Dragon. I was talking about The Fallen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It was Fallen. It's got that.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, every time I put in The Fallen, it keeps on showing me Bunker 2022, but that's not it.
Sure.
So it's trying to get.
No, I mean it may be from somewhere else. I mean it's a perfectly valid.
No, I think you could be right.
I mean there's no saying JMS came up with it. I mean it as a statement, it's a perfectly valid statement.
Yeah.
Basically saying truth is objective, not subjective.
Yeah. Well, it's not showing up on IMDb as The Fallen because The Fallen is a 2022 thing. And it's also called The Bunker.
Who's in it, PJ?
Well, I'll need to get my reading glasses because I'm an old man and I can't read that bloody tiny.
I know the feeling.
Right, wait to get my reading glasses. I'll get into my old man mode. Right, so I'm going to go into my old man mode. Right, bugger this. Right, so. Right, now I can read. Sort of, if I got longer arms. The Fallen, John McAvey, Thomas, something or other. Do you know what they've done? See the words? It's almost like they've crunched them so they're slightly tall and thin. But
as long as I have one name, I think this is it.
John McVeigh, McVay. So is that the same Fallen 22? It can't be the same Fallen 2022. Right.
This looks like a different one.
Years ago now, I bought I can't remember what it was. I think I bought a book just after Christmas from a charity shop. Which wasn't actually published until the next year. So I think what had happened is someone had got it for Christmas present.
2004.
They got it for a Christmas present, and because it had only been printed in December, the print was for next year or something like that. It was really, really weird.
Yes, it's really weird when they do the way that. See, I know it's hard to see, but see when you actually get the text like that, and it's almost crunched up. So, so the text above it, see the small line of text underneath the gold one, that's legible, but all the other stuff is crammed in. It's almost like they stretched it up and pushed it in, so it's harder to see. So really, really weird. But John McVeigh, and it's in the fall, and it's 2004. It was done in the autumn of 1944 in northern Italy. The German soldiers resist the advance of the American forces into Italy, and it's all about that. So that was the other movie I picked up. So nice Second World War movie, should be fun. And the last one is a right good old classic, Mrs. Minerva.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, it's a Greer Garson and Water Pigeon. Yeah, Greer Garson and Water Pigeon. So that should be fun. That one's the one I'm looking forward to most. So I haven't seen Mrs. Minerva. I've heard about it throughout the years. My mum loved that one. So she had seen it, but only whenever I came on TV, there was a chance, and it was just something I was never into. Sorry? I didn't hear you, Julie.
They do a new version with Kate Winslet or somebody like that.
Oh God, no! Please, no! You've just ruined it.
Pretty sure they did.
I'm going to actually grump and moan now. People will never know the difference with me normally grumping and moaning. Anyway, I've got two other wee things. And remember, I used to get the baubles, the wee teeny baubles. Well, I picked up Uncle Albert in Boise.
Oh, lovely.
Only fools.
Really nice.
I've got Dale and Rodney, and I've got.
Never mind. It was Mildred Pierce. My bad.
Is it Mildred Pierce?
It's Mildred Pierce.
Are they doing that just now? Are they just making that one just now? So that's my two wee figures I got.
Very cool.
So that's basically, I've got the Dale Boy and Rodney and the van sitting there on with my Laurel and Hardy and my Dad's Army figurines.
That's lovely.
And I saw those two as well. And
I like those tiny ones.
Yeah. Well, the tiny ones. Remember the big sets I got?
Mm-hmm.
They're bobbleheads as well, and I've already taken them out. Wait to see the difference. Right?
How did I not notice the Superman T-shirt?
Hey, you guys!
Chunk! Yay!
Yay! Right, so there's the wee bobblehead.
Oh!
Right?
Oh, Mr. Mannering, yeah.
And there's the one I got last week.
Oh, yeah, wow. Quite a difference.
Mannering and mini Mannering.
Yeah. So basically, that was the figures that I got last week. They're bobbleheads. I didn't even realise they were bobbleheads, even though it says it in the box. It's only when I took it out I realised. So they're actually a wee bit different from the bobbleheads, and that's the size of these ones. Because I've got the Dad's Army, I've got the Laurel and Hardy, and I've got.
I do like those. Yeah, those smaller ones. They're a lot easier to sort of display as well. Like if you have kind of a small space, so I like those.
Well, I'm actually starting to collect the bobbleheads, so any chance I get for a bobblehead, I'll take it, because I do like the bobbleheads, and I'm building up a collection. So apart from my Red Dwarf ones, my Ming the Merciless and Flash. No pornos in it. No, I already put it, so you had to be subscribed.
Do you know that you've got a Ming?
Yeah, I've got a Ming, and I've also got a Commander Adama. I've got Laurel and Hardy, I've got 4 Laurel and Hardy, and I've got 4 of the Dad's Army, and now I've got 4 of the Only Fools and Horses. I've got the Daleks, bobbleheads, I've got Apollo, and I've got Tom Baker as my bobbleheads, as well as those 3 big ones I got last week. So my bobbleheads are starting to pile up, and I do like the bobbleheads. So anytime I see a bobblehead of a sci-fi or a classic, I pick them up. I have got a habit of picking things up. And my wife keeps on saying that I've got too much. And I have got that much that I sort of sent out extras of things that I did have. Because as you can imagine, I've got doubles of doubles of doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, I'll take my mug off the big screen. Like Alec, I sent that Dalek down
Yeah.
to him.
Oh yeah, hold on.
At one point, I had 4 of those.
Wow.
I had 4 of them.
Put me on big screen, please, PJ.
Yeah.
Oh bloody! I was trying to get out of the cabinet.
I had 4 of those at one point. So
Dalek hat?
no, that's actually
That looks very
Yeah.
heavy.
it
is.
It's ceramic. It's no ceramic. What do you call it? Resin.
Yeah, the head don't properly turn, but yeah.
The head doesn't turn at all. It shouldn't be turning.
No, but it's good. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but I had 4 of them at one point. The
Dalek lampshade.
I like Latin shade. It would work for that. But also the Slovene and the giant robot. See the giant robot? I had 6 of those at one point. So
But the question is, did you have the tank?
The tank?
The giant robot, did you have the tank? I did.
I did.
But then I had an action man.
I had an action man. I had a couple of action men. I'm actually looking at replacing my action man, but every time I look at an action man, which is fairly inexpensive, all I can see is the hands are plastic, and I just don't want those ones. I want the ones with it. Get it? But I know they're expensive to get, so they are.
For my birthday, somebody gave me a Queen Elizabeth II Funko, complete with corgi.
Oh, oh, that's lovely. I think I've seen those.
I think I did show it to you.
Yes, yeah.
And a handbag.
Yeah, and the corgi.
Hold on.
So
See, I want one of those for my collection. So
Hold on, I'll show you what it looks like.
Well, for anyone,
Turn my
for
camera off.
for anyone that's Warhammer 40,000 fans.
All right.
Right, hold on.
Whoops, there's the Queen.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah,
No, that
Here's
is
the
one.
corgi.
That is
really cute.
Perfect. That is perfect.
Isn't it? And my
Oh,
bobbleheads are on the back.
On the back, excellent.
Lovely.
Your bobbleheads, you've got as many as I've got. I like that.
I don't have that many. Mine are mostly baseball and football and hockey.
It doesn't matter thing because I've got, as you can see,
hockey.
Here's all
Let's
mine
have some hockey
here.
ones.
So that shelf there is all my bobbleheads, and I've got a few sitting there. Oh, sitting there. See, try to actually point when they're about 15 feet away from me. So that's all my bobbleheads. They're all in that unit there. So they are. And then I've got them started going along the wall there. So that's the way I'm doing my bobbleheads. And that whole, my window ledge is going to eventually be filled with bobbleheads, and the John Wayne stuff and the creature from the Black Lagoon will have to come off it. So eventually that's going to be all bobbleheads. So that's what my aim is. So
lovely.
I do like my bobbleheads. Equilibrium is James Dean.
Excellent.
No, might have been an older movie.
And gold.
Okay, oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Right. What have I?
Hold on. Let's go.
Yes, that's correct.
No idea.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. The G.I. Joe, you called them G.I. Joe, but it was a 12-inch, but we called them Action Men. The G.I. Joes, we didn't really, we just called them toy soldiers. We didn't actually call them G.I. Joes. Whereas,
I loved the, I loved the sort of girl toys, but I also wanted a G.I. Joe, and the action, the sort of all the bits in the Jeep and all that. I wanted one of those so bad, and they're like, "Oh no, you're a girl, you can't have that."
Yeah, well, when I was growing up, I had an Action Man in a scout car. My brother had an Action Man in a German half track. We had the tent. I had 2 dogs.
Oh, I I had the
One of my friends
After
had
all-
the helicopter. One of my friends had the helicopter as well.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. So we used to always play, and I also had the $6 million man, where you could look through the back of his head.
Yeah,
Magnified.
yeah. I
And
had
you
the
had to leave
I
it
had the
at the back
Bionic
of you.
Woman to that. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
had the Bionic Woman one.
After my time. I was already in my teens.
Colin, and nothing's coming up. There, it's there. It's
Someone
actually
for the Queen's 60, for the Queen's Jubilee just before she passed away.
No, the 40k. That is a 40k
Yeah,
exclusive.
that's the
It's-
golden throne of the
Wow.
Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40k
Oh my
with the
god.
Queen, and it was
I
a
swear
freebie
to
download.
The,
It was you
tell
had
us
to print it
more.
yourself.
Oh good lord.
It's a print. It's what do you call it? A 3D printer.
Mhm.
Hmm. You know what
Unfortunately,
that reminds me of? Do you
But,
remember the Doctor Who Christmas episode, The Next Doctor? That reminds me of Dervla Kerwin when she was
Yes.
Yes.
when
yeah.
she was
Uh-huh.
the main
Yes.
person. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But
Yes, it does.
That actually looks really cool. So it does.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
Mhm.
unfortunately, I can't actually get the picture up because that is a Reddit post that does open in another page. Unless I can find another.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's
That is
the
pretty cool.
picture.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
it
cool.
is.
yeah.
I saw them when it first came out.
No,
Roman said I'm using the
couple-
book.
Oh, there's.
Miranda's asking, do you remember Atomic Man?
Atomic Man.
That one's not ringing any bells. But that's
Man. No.
no. Tell us more about that one.
Super
Yes.
Oh, that's right. It was me. Willis did it.
No.
Who was in it?
Atomic Man.
1955. No? I'm just Googling it and it comes up as a series from 1955.
I know I'm old, but that was 10 years before I was born. Come on, Miranda. I'm not that old. I look it, but I'm not. Atomic Man. Let's see. Oh, right.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
there
you.
it's there. I think that's it. That's the Action Man Atomic Man review. Is this page? It gave me an error when I actually went to the page, so that didn't help.
Never good.
Is it this one? So I need to actually dig this across. Hold on and share it. And
I think I found him as well.
present, share screen, and that one. Is it that we're talking about? See, that's the Action Man Atomic Man review.
Oh.
So it's maybe
Okay.
from a comic book where they've actually taken it in for Action Man.
It looks out of proportion.
I think it's just the angle. It's from above,
Yeah.
looking down.
Yeah.
So it's for the figure, so they could get the figure. Because if they showed it in proportion, the figure would be flat on. I think that's what it is. And there's another one there.
It looks
See it? Look, he's got. It's almost like see his arm,
Mhm.
and then you've got the hole in the chest. So it must be that one. That must be it. Atomic Man. I've never seen that. I have never
that
seen
right
that
arm
one.
looks weird, as if it's.
It does. It's because it's plastic. It's basically it's a standard
I found
Action Man
it
arm
here.
there. There's the standard Action
Yeah,
Man arm.
I think that's meant to be prosthetic arm or bionic arm.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
is. It's meant to be. See, every time I click on them, they give me an error for display for some reason. So, that's a normal arm, and it's clear. So that's what the problem is. So it's got a wire all the way through it to represent a bone and or electronics, and then it's clear. So it's weird. There's another one.
Yeah, that previous one looks like the one I just dropped in the private chat. Similar. Looks like the same type.
Yes, I think that's the exact same type because there it's there. That was the one you dropped, and it's that one.
Yeah.
So it's
That one-
that is the same one. So, but there, there it's there. Prosthetic
Awesome.
leg, prosthetic arm, and something on his chest.
So an Action Man $6 million clone.
Yes.
That link I've just dropped in the chat is the Midwinter Minis video where he prints and paints the Lilibet Empress of Mankind figure. That's where I saw it first. Was he actually
Right,
prints?
I can't click on it. So you put it in the private chat as well, because because it's in the normal chat, I can't click in it. So if it's in the private, I can save it for later on.
Yep, there you go. It should be it.
Yeah, so that's the one. So that's the. But Miranda, I'd never seen that one before.
No,
I'd never seen that one before. The Action Man stuff is yes. So if we just go. Right. See, I had that outfit, so I did. But we all had that one. I had I had that outfit as well, and that Action Man with the beard. I had the blonde guy, and my brother had the one with the dark. So he did.
Those are so cool.
My friend had that one because he had
parachute.
the helicopter.
Parachute with the working parachute.
I had that one as well, naval outfit with the dog tags, but I bought that separately from Action Man because there was a shop used to have all of them, and I would go down once a month with my pocket money and buy a new outfit from Action Man. I had that one as well. It's weird seeing that one as well. I had that one. Oh my god! I bought my brother one as well. I bought him that one because he had the German half track. And he didn't bother about buying new outfits because he had his outfit and his Action Man, and he would drive them off things and stuff like that. So I bought him that for his half track.
Back in the days where you were actually allowed to have World War II Germans.
Yes,
you were actually allowed to actually have them, and I actually remember some of the best models I made tended to be the German.
Yeah, I used to have that one. I used to go and buy all the guns separately as well. Because they had that one there, like the Bren gun or the Sten gun, but he had the Bren gun.
No, that's I think that's a Sterling, which was my personal weapon for a while. Otherwise, it was a Star Wars blaster.
That looks like the Bren.
I'm not sure. It depends, because if it's 70s and 80s MP, that will be the.
Yeah. But see, look, that's a Sten.
Yeah, that's a Sten gun. Yeah, that's definitely a Sten gun. Yeah, that's a Sten. The Sterling looks quite like the Sten. The Sterling's got a perforated barrel. So
yeah, I know that's what I thought that was. That's meant to represent, because it never perforated. Because I mean, so there it's there. See it how it's got the dots to represent the perforations.
Yeah, so I think that's a Sterling.
See, I thought that was the Sterling.
No, the Bren is a submachine gun. Is a machine gun.
Yeah,
7.62 L1A L19A1 Bren gun is a machine gun. Sten gun and Sterling
was
a
submachine gun.
Yeah,
but I'm sure that one there was meant to represent the Bren, because remember the
Bren's
Bren
a bit two-handed thing. You have to you pretty much have I fired a Bren and you fire a Bren and it pulls you forward. It's a heavy weapon. A Bren is a machine. You're never going to make the old Airfix Bren gun carriers, the small tanks.
Oh, yeah. So basically the Bren. I know. See.
Yeah, that's an MG.
That's a cool one.
That is a cool outfit. Never had that outfit, but
dog tag's a bit big.
The dog tags and all of them. That's the new stuff. The new stuff has actually got dog tags whereas the old stuff never had the dog tags on it. Yeah, I mean. The dog tags make they look silly now. So they do. I'm actually going to start collecting them as well. It's going to cost me a bloody fortune because I want them all. I want that one. I want that one. I want that one.
Yeah, they are cool.
See, that's a modern one. Look at the rifle. The rifles look out great as the.
Yeah, that's an SA-80.
Yeah, but the rifles and all that look great with the modern technology. But the outfits. You think about it, 30 years ago, the guns looked okay and their outfits looked immaculate. Hats looked great when they were on. Now, look at that. Look at that hat.
Mm.
Yeah. The head.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's what happens when we actually want to I want to buy all the Action Men. I want that. That one looks cool. Look at that.
Wow.
I want that.
My only question is, why is he looking to the left? Why is he looking to his left when the
I know,
grenade
because
is
on
right hand?
War of the Worlds, they were always looking to the right. Do you know they did that? Did you know they did that in the War of the Worlds? And not the War of the Worlds, the World War One stuff. You remember the World War One? You used to actually, they always had, they showed you archive footage of them coming out the trenches and stuff like that. But if you look at it, all the British are, all the Germans are like that because they didn't want them to actually look so like if they were, the way they were filming it, you'd see them coming out over the top. The Germans were filming theirs going out over the top, but they wanted to make them distinguish. So what they did was they flipped the film so they were always going a particular way, but it also made it look as if the Germans were all left-handed because they'd flipped the movie. So they were filming it back to front. So actually, they'd filmed it in a particular way. So they were always going, the two of them were always heading towards each other from screen.
Well, I know they did it in the old black and white cowboy movies. Which is why so you could tell which was which. The good guys always wear white hats, and the bad guys always wear black hats, which is where the phrases come from. And the good guys always went one way, and the bad guys were always going the other way, so you could tell which was which.
Yeah, but they did that. They took the piss out of that one in the movie. What was the movie? It was a cowboy one, and they said you can't be a bad guy. It was the one who kept shooting the guns out his hand and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember it. And the guy who played the sergeant in Private Benjamin was the sidekick in it.
Oh God, I can't think now. Who was in?
But it was basically the same idea. He's wearing the white hat, and he's white in the immaculate outfit, and he's the good guy. So, but somebody else comes in, and he's a good guy. And the two of them are wearing white, and everybody else is wearing black, and the two of them are shooting at each other, and they keep shooting the guns out each other's hand because the good guys never killed anybody. They would shoot the guns out the hand. It was taking the piss out of that whole genre that he came in as the good guy. So when they did shoot the guy goes, "You got him." He says, "I missed. I was aiming for his hand." So they took the absolute mickey out of that whole genre. Because the good guy, if there was a sidekick, the sidekick always gets killed to drive the good guy to the fight. So they had the sidekick, they ambushed him, and he's still alive. And it's because he's wearing armor under his shirt. you see him standing there in the middle of a gunfight, and bullets going bing, bing, bing off him. It was just such a funny movie. I'm just trying to remember it. I'll remember it for the next time. I definitely will. But
I know what you mean about guns. I many years ago, I went into a secondhand bookshop. Oh no, not a secondhand bookshop, but a discount bookshop. You know, you used to get them where you used to go. And I picked up some World War II. I must have been in my teens or early 20s in Staines. And I picked up a few books, and a couple of a book World War II commando books set in the desert, and I actually got them autographed because the guy owning the shop was the author. I can't find them, but I recently found a copy of a couple of the first two as ebooks. But they've got modern pictures, modern covers on. The first one's not too bad because it's one of these ones you quite see the SAS in the desert in a Jeep. The second one is a guy quite clearly in modern gear with modern weaponry, which does not fit a World War II cover. So I had to try see if I could actually get the old cover.
I bet they always do that. I hate it when somebody actually tries to update it. And see the guy who was in that movie, it was the Private Benjamin. It was Police Academy, the one that played Lieutenant Harris.
Yeah.
I know the guy you mean, yeah.
T.W. Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to actually find the movie he was in, and I just can't find it. Because as soon as I see it, I'm looking through his filmography, and I can't see it. He was in MASH. We all don't know that. Grizzly Adams, St. Elsewhere. But there's this Police Academy stuff, but I can't find the. Was it Rustler's Rhapsody? I know somebody had put Rustler's Rhapsody in the chat, but I can't actually remember it being Rustler's Rhapsody. So Melvin, but he's usually a hell of a lot faster than I am. So he was about 50 minutes. It was Rustler's Rhapsody. It was in. Thank you, Melvin. You caught me again. I thought I'd got it separately, but Melvin beat me to it again. He always beats us to it when I'm actually trying to think of something. I think he's reading my mind you. I don't know if he's good at small print, so yeah, dad jokes. I can't help myself.
Take care, Jacob.
See you later, Jacob.
Bye, Jacob. Good night.
Bye. But Rustler's Rhapsody, if you get a chance to see a movie, it takes the trope of the good guy in a western. That's the one. Rustler's Rhapsody. Thank you. I would never have guessed that, remembered that name in a million years. I thought it was something the good guys of the West or something. I don't know why I didn't even register the name. It's terrible.
I just was doing some. I don't know if, however, if many of you have ever found anything to watch on the Internet Archive, archive.org.
Oh yes, I have. There was a.
It's really interesting stuff there, and I came across something that I'd never heard of before. It's called Crime Traveler.
Yeah, I remember that from the
series about people who traveled back in time to find it.
Yeah, they got to travel back 24 hours. To solve murder or prevent it, I think.
Something like that. It kind of actually reminds me of Pushing Daisies.
What was it? Was it archive.org?
That's familiar.
Archive.org. I loved Daisies. Loved it.
Right, I've actually seen, somebody pointed to me this before, but I can't even remember anything I found on it. But that is a really good site. Thanks for reminding me of that one.
Yes, that one of the ones where you can find things that people have since deleted because they get.
Alec, you need to actually stop sending him books, look, because my dad jokes are Jack the Lad. Sad. He's enjoying that book. He's still reading it. Pushing Daisies.
Somebody can share it.
Do you know the one Pushing Daisies was on at the same time as the one about the girl who got hit with a toilet seat?
Dead Like Me. Both.
Dead Like Me, yes.
Yeah. Dead Like Me. I preferred Dead Like Me to Pushing Daisies. I don't know why.
I remember Dead Like Me. I don't vaguely remember Pushing Daisies.
I remember it was on about the same time, and people saying if you like that, you'll like this because of the genre.
To be honest, I mean, they were totally, except for the fact that people who were dead are now alive. The premises were totally different.
Yeah, but it's because they said, if you like that, where the dead people are actually trying to repair stuff, you'll like Pushing Daisies. And I was sitting there thinking, it's just about dead people coming. I don't know, but I will put it on my list. I'm running short. I've only got about a year's worth of stuff on my list that I've not watched. So.
Wow.
I'll soon get through that. If I stop working, stop sleeping, and stop eating, I should be fine. I should get it through. And what happened there? Who's bounced? Yeah, Jim the Viking. He must have fell asleep.
They got books. They got movies. They got.
I'm just saying that one up.
Yeah,
I remember that Crime Traveler.
I have seen this one before. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's got some interesting connections as well. Crime Traveler. It's got Red Dwarf's Clarionet. It's got Carol Royal, Angela Pleasance, Donald Pleasance's daughter. It's got Juno Romana, Mary Tam.
I didn't know that.
Ray Lonan, who I remember from Harry's Game, amongst other things, and I think he was also in the Sandbaggers. It's got quite a.
Yeah,
This is like
but look at that, I didn't realise Pushing Daisies was narrated by Jim Dale.
Yep.
Wow.
Really?
That's what Melvin says, and I would put that down as 100% accurate because Melvin knows his stuff. So Pushing Daisies, Jim Dale from the Carry On movies, he was a narrator in it. I didn't know that. I would have watched it if I knew that at the time.
Yeah, this website is very addictive. You basically just roam around on here all day.
Was that a British one then, Pushing Daisies? Because that sounded free, isn't it?
They also had a 1949 version with Charlton Heston as Rochester, which was even worse.
Oh,
it's horrible.
No.
Woman
Basically,
looked like the bride of.
Right, I just got a message. Sorry to interrupt you. Got a message from Jim. His internet's down.
He's feeling technological.
Yep. Sorry to interrupt you, Julie.
No, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I just was
you were talking Mr. Rochester, yeah.
Discussing Mr. Rochester and the crazy wife in the attic.
Yes, I'm sorry. Kieran Hines has ruined me. There is no other Mr. Rochester.
No.
Kieran Hines is everything.
I'm just looking down the cast.
Something for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm actually looking for that Crime Traveller on that site.
I'll send it to you. Hold on a second. I just had it.
I'm just looking down the cast of Pushing Daisies as well. I don't think I do remember that one, but I'm taking it that was an English one because it's got a large English cast, but it's also got people like who did I see on that one? A couple of other faces I recognise as well. Robert Picardo was in it apparently.
Okay.
Kristen Chenoweth, who I remember from the West Wing. Who else did I see? There was another name I just recognised on it. Presumably early appearances by. There was someone else in there I recognised and I can't think who.
See, I think Stephen Fry is a bit more. I like Stephen Fry, but I think he sounds too pompous because he's got a very distinctive accent. I think that's what it is. I like him on QI, and see when he left QI, I stopped watching it. I like what'd you call her?
Sandy
Toxford, but I like her as a comedian. I do not like her in QI. She just seems to. Because we know Stephen Fry, very highly educated and stuff like that, Sandy Toxford knows her stuff, but the way she comes across, it's almost like she's just more taking the piss out of people, that I know this and you don't. Whereas Stephen Fry, he was just basically saying, I know this, you don't. Because he came across as more intelligent, not as someone who seems to be just boasting about it. And that's why I like Sandy Todsvig as a comedian and actress, but I didn't like him QI, so I stopped watching it.
He's in a Big Finish episode, and I can't remember which one.
Was that not the one? He was in the Doctor Who where he says, he kept talking to Graham. To the doctor. Now, I'm the doctor. I had an upgrade. Remember? That was Stephen Fry. Was in
that. But I'm saying Sandy Toxvig was in a Big Finish episode.
Oh, Sandy. So I can't remember that. But Sandy and things like she was on Time Team as well. So she was. Sandy Todsvig was actually in Time Team at one point as well. A couple of times she actually turned up at the digs, and she was basically. She was, I think, when she covered once when Tony Robinson was off.
I do remember that. I think I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with her is that, again, I mean, Stephen Fry, everybody knows Stephen Fry is, and it cracks me up with Stephen Fry being posh because his mother's family are Jewish immigrants from Austria.
Yeah. And you know he's highly educated. You can hear from his accent.
I remember him saying once about how one of his grandparents used to pronounce pineapple upside down cake. And it was something like pineapple upside down. It was literally literally syllable by syllable, obsidi umikake or something, because
Yes.
he said he was Polish or something.
Because they were literally, they were learning English phonetically.
Did you see his episode of Who Do You Think You Are?
No.
It was
haven't seen that
heartbreaking
one.
because they went to the camps and showed that some of his relatives had died there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that absolute nutcase? Somebody had put it on Twitter. Some guy was basically, he was liking it to baking cookies. And he was saying that no matter how many cookies you bake per day, you would never get to 2.8 million. You would maybe get a couple of 100,000 over those 5 years. And you're sitting there thinking, this guy's a tosspot. He's basically linking it to,
totally.
well, you couldn't have burnt them all these people, because if you tried to make cookies, you couldn't make that many in these years if you were on the average.
You don't put hundreds of cookies in the oven at any one given time.
But they're also, the fact is that he's implying that that's the only reason they actually they died, because there was a lot were just executed in mass
first and then burned and shot and put in mass graves. And
exactly. And he's basically gone on, but it's not just the camps, because there was the starvation. It was everything. It was dealt with it. But he was implying that it didn't happen because he can prove it by cookies. If I had 5 ovens, and that's 5 cookies, then if I had 50 ovens, that's 50 cookies, and I cook 50 cookies a day, I'm never going to get to 2.8 million. And that's how he was going. He was an absolute nutcase, basically saying it didn't happen. That's them already again trying to rewrite history, because I mean, I even heard one. They were talking about how they don't like Hitler was a socialist and socialism, and then somebody says, well, Hitler was just a paper socialist until the night of the long knives, and then he became a fascist. But fascists are still, he was a nationalist socialist fascist. So he was still a socialist, but he was a national socialist fascist. They're implying that you can't be a fascist if you're a socialist. Hitler became a fascist, but he was still a national socialist.
Not all socialists are fascists, but all fascists are socialists.
But they were implying that you can't be both. So he was a national socialist until the night of the long knives, and as soon as he got all the power, they became fascists. No, they were still national socialists, fascists. They were basically very extreme national socialists, but they were completely opposite from the communists, who were national socialists. They just went one way and they went the other. One was we control the people, the other one is we control the speech of the people. Yes.
I mean, there's the contemplations I've just downloaded from Lotus Eaters, which is talking about that.
Yeah. And that's the guy was effectively even saying is, if you had multiple camps and you had in all of them 50 or 100 ovens within all the camps, then you couldn't get to 2.8 million, because if you did 100 a day over the 5 years. But that's implying it started from the very first minute of the war to the very last minute of the war. Exactly, but it was the fact is there were years, and it wasn't just one person in the oven. They were basically just, and it was churning. But he was implying that this is how you had 50 ovens, so that it couldn't work. And it was just, it was infuriating that people actually still think like that, and they're trying to convince other people it can't be true, because if I use this metaphor and actually take that metaphor completely as if that's what means the truth, then everything else can't be true, because, and you're sitting there thinking, really, you're only going to bake one cookie a day in one oven. You're not actually going to be cooking one cookie every hour in those 50 ovens every day, 24/7, maybe 2 or 3 cookies at the same time. And it's that type of thing. It was just the whole mentality of this nutcase. The fact that he compared them to cookies, and then he used it so he could bypass the censors because he was using the cookies as a metaphor. And I was just going nuts. It was basically disgusting.
People are idiots.
I'm not a religious man, and but he's basically going down the route that religion had nothing to do with it. Really? really? It's just everything he opened his mouth and said just was infuriating. I only clipped through it because as soon as he started something, I wanted to see where else he was going, so I would clip through. So, but every time he opened his mouth, he was absolutely disgusting.
Yuck.
Yeah, and they're trying to make it as if it didn't happen, and that's the National Socialists for you. That's why I'm a very anti SNP in Scotland now. I used to be an SNP until I realised what they were, and I've never voted for them again, and I never will support anything they do. So anything they do, I just anything they do, I just. Do you know how bad they are? They turn around and say the BNP, the British National Party, is a fascist, disgusting party because they're very anti this and anti that. But us being the Scottish National Party, we're really good.
Yeah, exactly.
The Scottish nationalism is good, but British nationalism is bad.
The Scottish National Party is very, very good at being anti-English.
Yeah, they're very anti anything that doesn't suit their. They're very anti-Scottish when it comes to certain things because the Scots get it in the neck. So if you say, I disagree with illegal immigration, we need proper immigration, they say you must be a bigot.
Oh, they all do that.
Right, I'm anti-crime. I'm anti-crime and anti-illegal. So if you've got, because some of my friends, their parents come over for legal immigrations. One of my friends, see, he was where was he was from? It was years ago. Vietnam. He'd come over from Vietnam. His parents had come over from Vietnam. So I grew up, and he was a neighbour. And then they used to get. Remember, they used to call them the boat people.
Yep.
They would come, right? It was before all this mass immigration. It was, but you would get the boat people, as he called it, or it was called in the media, and they would be housed in certain roundabout. And I'd said to him one day, because they'd just actually been put in the same clothes as him. And I says, you must be happy because there's people with your parents must be happy because there's people with the same culture and the same clothes. He says, you kidding? We're all mad. He says, my dad had to fight to get here. He had to save up. He had to make sure he had savings. He had a job to go to, and he had the education to come in. He says, they got brought in and gave everything. Why the hell should I care about that? He says, to me, they should be in jail. And I thought, really? At the time, I never thought about it because I was in my 20s. But when he explained that, and I thought, I can see that. I can understand that. You basically do go through all the proper channels. Make sure you've got savings. Make sure you've got a job to go to. Make sure you've got the education the country needs. And then they'll let somebody in who just actually walks in off a boat who had himself, no money, nothing, and then he gets everything. Whereas my friend's parents had to work for everything. And I understand why he was annoyed.
1990s, and something happened in the 1990s. We don't know what. Something happened in the late 1990s. I never seem to manage to work out what it was. Tony Blair!
Aye.
Something happened in the 1990s, apparently.
Well, it's funny because I was just thinking about after you said something last week, PJ, about the SNP, and it just reminded me the Welsh can have their own parliament to discuss their own issues, and the Scots can have their own parliament to discuss their own issues, but the English aren't allowed to.
Nope.
Yes, I know. The English are that bad that the Scottish still want to be part of their parliament, and they say that you shouldn't be part of our parliament.
Right.
Sorry, if you're standing in the Scottish Parliament, you should not be in the Westminster Parliament, or the Westminster Parliament. If that is a generic parliament for all, then there should be one for the English separately from the Westminster Parliament. That's the way I look at it. The English should have their own parliament, and the Westminster Parliament is the parliament where all the parliaments come.
Here in the US and Canada, we have a federalist system. So each individual state or province has their own local government, and then there's the central government in Washington and in Ottawa.
Yeah,
I mean, if I've got it right, I think that makes. I was thinking that makes England Washington DC. Washington DC doesn't have a statehood, does it?
This is Roman's Christmas. Before we go to visit down there, that's Roman's Christmas tree. Can you recognise anything on it? I can
Let's-
recognise at least 4 things on that. Look there,
Oh, there's
a wee
Oh, I see.
Dalek.
What's
Right,
his
but
name?
I'll show you. He sent bigger close-up pictures. Right, there's
What's his
one.
name? Pardon?
Oh, nice.
The
TARDIS
TARDIS.
and a whooping
Next to an angel, like it. Oh, K9.
Nine.
That's
Then I saw
lovely.
from what's his name? The guy in
And a Dalek, of
Nightmare
course.
Before
Lovely.
Christmas.
And you think about this one?
No,
That's that's Peter Capaldi, isn't it?
Capaldi.
Is that a
the hair.
Capaldi one?
Is that, or else it could be Matt Smith, but it's just because of the hair.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
looks
was Peter Capaldi.
more like Capaldi than Smith, but it doesn't look particularly like either of them.
I know.
it doesn't.
So who had
Yeah.
it looks like he's holding a Christmas present, but it looks like the outfit is more Matt Smith. Roman
It
can
looks
tell us
almost
next
like
week.
Matt Smith in the Widow.
Oh, the
That one
man.
just looks like Tom is hanging.
Oh.
That one just looks like Tom is hanging.
That's brilliant.
Just to be
And
with his
I'd
scalp
really
on
good.
his leg, it
I'd
looks
also
as if-
like to know when Tom joined Adam and the Ants, because he's got an Adam and the Ants stripe across his nose.
Oh,
I think it's
know-
of the
yeah,
light.
just
must
reflection.
be a
It's
reflection.
just the fact
But I know
that
what you mean.
He's headed like that, and the strings coming down, and he's got a bit round. He just looks as if he's been hung. You can't really see his hat because of the branch, but there's his hat. It's just the way he's doing it. It looks as if he's been hung.
Yep.
So that was the pictures that Roman sent of his Christmas trees being told to
Nice
put up.
one. Very
It is
nice.
very nice.
Very,
I'm
very.
worked with a lot of Polish and Portuguese people in England. They were all for Brexit. They understood that mass immigration was going to be bad for them in the long run too. A couple of my friends, Polish, one of them was very anti-Brexit because she thought she's married to a Scotsman, she's got a kid, and she thought because she's Polish and she didn't immigrate here, she was over here and she now lives here as part of Europe. She thought she was going to get kicked out. Turned around, wasn't it? It wasn't as bad as everybody was threatening, but she was very anti because of that, which I understood. And one of the other girls who was very pro-Brexit, and she says, I should still be able to work here under my visa, so they're not going to kick me out. All I need to do is reapply for my visa in 3 years' time. They're not going to say your visa's suddenly invalid. And she says, I'm now living here, I've got my house and all that. They're not going to kick me out. And that's the thing. It's people have been told that, because you're Polish or Portuguese, as soon as Brexit comes, you're out. And people are actually going, really? See, I've been saying for years, they're saying things like, you'll not be able to go on holiday in France, or you'll not be able to go to Spain. You really think they're not going to they're going to turn to Britons and say, we don't want all your money, take it somewhere else? Of course not. They get thousands and thousands of people holidaying. You think they're going to turn all that money away?
Because people from Central and South America are being told that they have to like this illegal immigration coming from the South, because after all, it's their people.
Yeah.
But those who are here legally, like people I work with,
are very anti because they've come in legally.
Here legally, they can too go through the process.
But that's the thing as well. But see, the ones that came legally, if they're not working, they have to sign on. They have to get this. If you walk in, they've got a house. They've got. You look at the legal immigrants come over here. They're in a hotel getting food. They're getting free electricity. They're getting money to spend. They're getting free internet. And there's a wee woman down the road who's worked all her life. She's on a pension and she has to put covers over herself because she can't afford to put her heating on. Where does it go? And that's the problem. It's money. The money men at the top are the ones turning around saying, well, see, if you come in and you come in illegally, see that jail over there, that's where you're going to sit until we get you out, because all this money is going to the wee old women over there who's no heating and has worked all her life, or that man over there who has served his country and he's injured and he's got mental issues. The other money's going there, but no, you're getting nothing. So if they got nothing, if people get entered illegally and got nothing, it would stop. It's because they're getting so much from any country. They go into America, they get so much. They come into Britain, they get so much, and that's the problem. Money is driving it.
The way I look at it is all these people. This immigration just goes to prove that we were right to go for Brexit, because we were right to leave the absolute hellhole that is France and the EU, because all these people are risking their lives to leave the EU and come to Britain, which goes to show how much a better place Britain must be than the EU.
Yeah, but there's also the problem is, do you know what the problem is? Right, first of all, that figure was a Capaldi-ish, and because what I've said about Tom, he has to fix him.
It was weird. Back in 1999, I took myself to Paris and London for my 40th birthday. And I'm in London. Obviously, I have to go through customs when I get to London. Not a problem. I take the Eurostar over to Paris. And I get out of the train at the Gare du Nord, and there's no customs. Because you're going from EU country to EU country, so there's no customs. But I'm still not an EU resident. So I get to the airport in Paris to go home, and the woman's looking at my passport asking me how I got into France. And I wasn't, and she's asking me in English because she was trying to be condescending. And I answered her in French, and I said, look, and I was going to be polite. I was not going to be my usual fluently speaking person and saying, how do you think I got here, you twat? But I didn't say that.
Yeah, you've got a stamp from entering
That's
London.
my girl.
I said, I took the Eurostar, and she said, prove it. So luckily, I am a pack rat. I reached into my bag and whipped out the ticket, showing her indeed I had come from London into Paris on whatever date it was, and there was my proof. And I said, they couldn't put a stamp in my passport because there was no customs at the Gare du Nord. How am I supposed to go through customs if there isn't any?
Yeah. And also what they're going to do to you, so sorry, I didn't actually enter here legally. I'm going on a plane to America. What are you going to do? Deport me? That's how nuts it is. Basically, you can drive from Spain through France to Germany or Italy. Yeah. You've not getting stopped anywhere, and then they can turn around and say, how did you get into the country? Well, I drove in. Or I flew in. It's basically, you can fly from like Scotland. If I get like last Monday, I jumped in the plane. All I needed was my boarding pass. Didn't need any proof of ID because I was flying from London to London. I was flying from Glasgow to London, so it's domestic. So you don't need it. It's like going on a train. You wouldn't need your driving license or whatever on the train. They sometimes ask you if you are a resident, so you have to prove it. But obviously, old white, so it must be.
You must be a criminal because you're old and white. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they just assume I am who I say I am because privilege. You know what I mean? But the fact is, when we were in Europe, we still needed a passport to go to France, and you're sitting there thinking, well, they're turning around saying Brexit's bad because you'll need to use your passport to get to France. Well, I can't actually fly out of the country without my passport, even if I'm going to France or Spain, even though we're all in Europe and we're all part and parcel. So how can you turn around and say it will be different? You'll need a passport. Well, I've got a passport and I still need it when I'm going to France or Germany or wherever, because I can't fly without my passport. I can't go under the tunnel without my passport. But they turn around and say, for Brexit, you realise that's going to make it harder to travel because you'll need a passport. We still bloody need a passport.
In the first place, yes.
Exactly. So everybody who's travelling from country to country needs a passport until they tell you don't need a passport because you're in Europe and they're all classed as domestic flights, but we still use your passport to prove who you are. Yeah. That makes zero sense. That's why it's all hypocrisy. They just tell you, they double speak everything. They tell you lies as if it's going to matter. And that's what freaks people out. And it's the fact is, like, they're going about, you don't like immigration. Well, apart from three of my grandparents, my fourth grandparent was an immigrant. He was over here when he was 8 from Italy, so his parents emigrated to Britain. So we're immigrants. Fair enough. 2 of them were Scots, 1 Irish, and 1 Italian. So my Italian grandfather was brought here as a kid. So his parents emigrated, and so did he when he was a kid. So we're still part. If immigrants weren't allowed, then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Or I would actually look more
I don't know how much you may notice it, but I'm not sure exactly why. But recently, a certain politician from who ended up in the Northern Irish, it's a Northern Irish MP, who made a speech which was extremely prophetic and wrong, only in that it vastly underestimated the number of people involved, has been in the news recently.
Yeah.
Mr. Powell.
Yeah. Basically, they're saying he basically had stated that, yes, I have seen a few articles about it, but
yeah,
I'm aware of he basically, because they always said he was racist because he was always anti-immigration, and he wasn't. It was monitored in immigration.
He made some fantastic points. He was like everyone else, he was a man of his time, so he used language, and indeed, at the risk of sounding like Prime Minister Brownface, he did have attitudes which we might find we don't quite hold these days. But the points he was making were quite salient. There was one that came out with him being interviewed, and he was talking to Jonathan Miller. And he was saying what he was saying was, if you get large numbers of people come in, they're not going to culture. They're not going to
assimilate the culture.
Assimilate, thank you. They're not going to assimilate into the culture, and it's going to end up causing trouble. And I said the only thing he was wrong about was the number of people. He was vastly underestimated the number of people.
Yeah,
everything else he said was right. The attitude, the language might be a bit unpleasant, certainly these days. Might annoy people these days, but there was nothing he said was factually wrong.
I know, but see, that's the problem. To me, his language wasn't bad because it wasn't done now, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
It's the same as Churchill. Look at all those nutcases, mind you. That's a bad example because the same nutcases who went after Churchill for being racist, who Churchill admitted he was very racist because he admitted because he served in India and he lived in India, he hated Indian people. It was just a case of because he lived and fought over there, so he had a prejudice. It was the same as my grandfather, served in the Scottish Regiment. He used to fight because when my mum introduced my dad to him, he says, "I spent fucking 4 years fighting they buggers, and you want to marry one?" Because my grandfather hated Italians. Because guess what? He fought Italians. It was that type of thing.
Well, these people,
obviously, it changes. People change as they grow and they get to know It's like the old. See, when I was younger, and I was very Scottish and SNP. People say you hate the English. I say no. I hate the English system. I don't hate the English. It was the English system. Whereas now nationalists don't see the difference, and that's the problem. It's the same as I hate the Conservative government, sorry, the Labour government, but people who are Labour supporters, I don't hate because of who they support. Some of the ones who are very nutcasey, same as the Scottish nationalists, who some of them are nuts, but some of them they've got ideas of what they want, and so I don't like. I dislike groups, but I don't dislike individuals. And you can allow to say that. I
don't know what conservative government you're talking about. We haven't had a conservative government for about 10 years.
Oh, it's basically
Tory, yes. Conservative, no.
They used to actually say there's no such thing as a Labour government anymore because New Labour, because Tony Blair, back to him, when the New Labour got in, he didn't go to the old Labour MPs and ex-prime ministers to get advice. He went to Margaret Thatcher, who was a Conservative, to get advice. And people says, how can that be a new Labour government if they go to a Conservative? So the new Labour was basically Conservative light. And that's all they were. Whereas now you're getting the extreme Labour coming in.
And now the Conservatives are Labour light.
Yeah, and then the new Labour is Labour light. It's basically, it's nuts. And the SNP are basically saying you should hate these people. The Labour are you should hate these people. Everybody's telling you should hate other groups. Divided we stand. United we stand, divided we fall. And why the hell it's the same idea as I'm not going to listen to Jimmy Cranky to tell me that I should hate you guys because you come from south of the border, right? So I'm not going to listen to Jimmy Cranky telling me I should. It's the same as I wouldn't listen to a government official telling me I'm not allowed to see my dad when he's during lockdown. I never stopped visiting my dad. And so I saw him right up until he passed. If I had followed their rules, that means I would have been a year and a half not seeing my dad and never seen him again. And people were saying to me, but it's dangerous for your dad. I says, in your opinion, it's dangerous for my dad, but everybody that comes into the house is aware of their condition. Because if they're not well, they don't come near the house. But you don't know you've got it. Then if you don't know you've got it so light. I might have a flu. It's so light that I don't know I've got it. And I could pass the flu on to my dad. I could pass, if I don't wash my hands, I could pass germs on to my dad. But the problem was, if his doctor says he can't have any visitors because it's dangerous for his health, he's a doctor. I would have listened to him. I'm not going to listen to anybody who's not a professional in that field to tell me what I should.
My dad was in hospice the summer of 21. And he tested positive for the coof without any symptoms. It was a rapid test, and you can't trust those anyway.
I know it's the thing. I've had 2 of those tests. One of them says I was fine. The other one said I had COVID, and the 2 of them were done within a half an hour of each other.
I had one done, and he said it was a cat.
That's that. Even if he did have it, I didn't care. I wanted to see him because I knew he was dying.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's exactly it. You look at all those poor people who were taken into hospital. Families weren't allowed to go in, even though they knew they were basically told they were dying. So in effect, they were dying on their own and no contact. How would you feel if you actually listened to those people? And that's the problem.
I took him to hospice on Sunday, not knowing he was going to die, but I was thinking that it was not going to be good. But I planned on visiting him every day, and they told me I couldn't because he had tested positive. And every day they told me his progress. And finally, on Thursday, they said he was completely unresponsive and was doped up. And I'm thinking, he doesn't have any symptoms of anything. There is no way in hell they're going to stop me from going to see him.
Well, if he's tested positive, what's that got to do with you? He's already got it.
Right. I'd already had it. So anyway, but they don't care. Anyway, so I get to the hospice the Friday morning. I called them and let them know I was coming. And they said, oh, we'll call you right back. And then they never did. So I said, screw it, I'm going. So I get there, and they greet me at the door and said, no, may I help you? And I said, I'm here to see my father. Who's your father? And I told them. And they said, oh, you can't see him. He's in the COVID isolation wing. And I said, sorry, I'm seeing him. I said, I've been told he's unresponsive. He is not going to die without my seeing him. And as
Good for you.
Repeatedly, you can take the girl out of New York, but you cannot take New York out of the girl.
Damn right.
Pitched a fit. And they dressed me up in a hazmat suit and made me sign a waiver. And a very kind nurse leaned over and whispered in my ear, you have to go in there looking like this, and you have to come out of there looking like this. But I don't care what you do when you're inside.
Yeah.
Because it was all for show. And that's
it was all for show, yeah.
But see, Kelly, you did exactly. See, for 2 years before my dad passed, the doctor kept saying, put him in a home, put him in a home, put him in a home. And we were saying, no, because if you put him in a home, we don't get to help and make the decisions for my dad, who his dementia was starting to go really, really bad. And I've got one of those faces even my dad couldn't forget. He could forget. See, when my dad's dementia was kicking in, I would go up to him and say, and I would walk in, and he would go, "You're 5 minutes late," and I'm look up at the clock, and literally I was 5 minutes late. And I thought, how did you know? You're meant to have dementia. You're meant to forget things. I told you that 3 days ago. He says, I always remember. I know what time you're here. And I says, oh, was my sister here? He says, no. My sister says, I sat with him for about 5 hours.
Wow.
And he forgot her as soon as she walked out the door. But me, he bloody remembered everything. So if I said something last week, he would cast it up to me as soon as I walked in. So
That's fascinating.
Because we had the relationship, I would sit and watch Time Team with him. He had the same sense of humour. We used to watch the same movies. So even when we were working, we could laugh and joke and we worked together.
Yeah,
It's
that's
obviously
really nice.
it stuck with me. So I was always I would be the one who would always remember as soon as I walked in that you said you would be here this time and you're 5 minutes late, and he would cast it up to me. But the idea that if we had put him in the home and then this happened, we wouldn't have been able to see him. Even during the lockdown, they were saying put him into home. Not a bloody chance in hell, because if we put him in, we can't go in and visit him.
Yeah.
And there's no way on earth. My dad, who's got dementia, and when he wakes up, at least he knows where he is.
Yep.
Even though he doesn't know the people around him, at least the locate. You imagine dementia waking up and there's nothing you know around you.
Yeah. No,
And then no family there that you recognise to deal with that.
Well, I had to take him to hospice because my mother actually had the coof at that time.
Yep.
And there was no way I could take care of both of them.
See, that's the thing. I had a big family. So it was my niece and my nephew who were looking after my dad. We would come up and help them out. And it was that. We've got a big, big family. So my dad was, as he kept saying, the head of a big family. There was 5 kids. There was 27 grandkids.
Wow.
And there was 18 great-grandkids.
No.
Big family. Plus, my dad was the oldest of 7, and my mum was the oldest of 7. So there was all the cousins and all that. So a big, big, big family. So there was always somebody in.
Now, I have one brother. He lives in California.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just me. I couldn't take care of him. And I wanted professionals to be there. And since he had dementia, the good thing is that I could lie to him and tell him he was only there for one night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, that's the thing as well. We had carers coming in 5 times a week. And the carers were very good. And even my dad got to remember him even with his dementia. So we also had professionals there. But it was the idea that we wouldn't have been able to handle it even with all of us without that professional help.
Yeah, no, I mean, that again, my mom was very sick at the time, and there's no way I personally could have taken care of both of them because I'm not a professional. So I did have to take him to the hospice, and a year and change later, I still have this nagging feeling of guilt that I killed him, but I didn't.
Yeah,
no, you didn't.
But that's the thing. But do you not feel that because of the lockdown, people are putting that on you?
Well, but get this. Remember, I'm a resident of Florida, the free state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And not terribly few months after all this happened, our state legislature passed a law, and our governor, best governor of the country, signed it, saying that you could not do this to people anymore. Could not let people die alone anymore. You could not prevent families from visiting their loved ones in hospital, in hospice, anywhere.
Yeah. And do you know the worst part of all of that? Right. I visited my dad. I used to visit my dad 3 times a week. So I did regularly. And
my parents have 4 days a week.
And because I was at the other side, I was about an hour's drive, so I was a drive there and the thing. But I'd always got to pick up my sister to come over, and I was doing it from work, so I was traveling a hell of a lot. So I was traveling up and down to work, so that's an hour up and down. Plus, I was going over to the other side of the city and then coming back. So I was doing a lot of traveling. My fuel bill, apart from anything else, was probably double what it is now because I cut all that traveling out. But it's people's attitude was really the thing, because I was going over to see my dad. I was the one killing him because I didn't follow the lockdown rules that they set. I was the one killing him.
That's why I've got absolutely no sympathy for people saying, "Oh, we should have an amnesty." No, we shouldn't.
No, exactly, because if they're
what do you need an amnesty? What do you need an amnesty for if you didn't do anything wrong?
Because they know they were wrong, and that's the problem. But did you not find, Kelly, that it's people's attitude that you were the one that did it? Because
of course,
yeah. They're basically implying that. Sorry, I knew my dad thought he was going to die before I got married. I got married 6 years ago, so we were worried because he had a heart attack prior to that. He had to get a couple of stents in. We thought he wouldn't even survive for my wedding, and he did. Then there was my niece's wedding the year after. We thought he wouldn't survive for that, and he did. And then the next year, but his dementia kicked in and he went downhill. So over those last 4 years, his dementia kicked in really bad. But people were actually laying it on me. If you didn't go and see him, he might still be here. No, because it wasn't the coof it killed him. It was his diminishing health it killed him.
Yeah.
I'd be like turning around and say it's going to kill me. No, it'll probably be my diabetes and this. That'll kill me. Yeah, I mean, that'll kill me rather than the coof. That's full of sweeties, by the way, just so you're aware. Yes, I'm diabetic and I eat all those sweeties. But that's more likely to kill me. But I'm not going to actually turn around because I bought them, the shopkeepers, that's responsible for killing me.
No.
If I eat all them, it's my fault, not the shopkeeper who sold me them.
Are you type 2?
Yes, I'm type 1.
Oh, type 1. Okay.
I've got my insulin sitting here. So yeah, I'm type 1, but I've been type 1 since 2000.
Oh, really? As an adult?
Yeah, I was an adult. I was 35.
Wow.
I was late onset. My sister, who I grew up, she was 18 when she was diagnosed.
Wow.
So, and so I grew up with it. At that time, I was probably about 15 when she was diagnosed. Then my brother was 24 when he was diagnosed. That is my younger brother.
Oh my God, the whole family?
Well, there's 3 of us. There was 5 of us, right? So 3 diabetics. One, what was she? She was I can't even remember. It was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was 3 of us were diabetics. One had another condition, and then my sister Margaret, who was the weirdo because she was healthy. You know what I mean? But it was that type of thing. So epileptic. Sorry, so I couldn't remember what it was. But 3 diabetics, 1 epileptic, and a weirdo.
Oh, Lord.
So she was normal. But yes, but see, that's from my dad's family. See, my dad's uncle was diabetic from my dad's side. My dad's nephew, his niece, his 3 kids, and yeah, I keep on telling my kids, just be careful, you keep have it. So my kids are a wee bit more healthy because they eat healthier than I ever did when I was younger.
My dad's brother was type 1. I was pre type 2, but I was able to lose enough weight to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's not fun.
Yeah, my friend has been type 2 twice, and it was both of her pregnancies.
Oh, dear God.
She became type 2 during her pregnancies. As soon as she was off, she was fine. As soon as she had the baby, she was fine. So she decided she actually liked sweets too much, so she wasn't getting pregnant again.
Oh, yeah.
I always found that was the weirdest one. I like sweets too much, so I'm not getting pregnant again. That is weird. It's because every time she got pregnant, her diabetes kicked in, so she was type 2. So she had to watch what she was eating when she was pregnant. So but that's always fun when things like that happen, because it just goes to show. But it's all runs in my dad's side of the family. So 3 kids, but his nephew, niece, his uncle, and all that had it. My niece, she died when she was 22. She took a hypo and gone within a day.
Oh my God.
22.
Oh,
Yep. But the thing is, people actually see when my sister was diagnosed, she was told that her average age would, if she was lucky, would be 45,
Oh, good
because that was the average age of diabetics, because the average lifespan was about 30 years.
It didn't live long until relatively recently.
Yeah, it was the average age was about 30 years. That was from the 70s because of the insulin. But prior to that, it was something like 15 years. It was expected to last, but in the 70s and 70s and 80s, it was, they said, you're roughly 30 years. Now, I could live. What? Kelly's just Wen's just bounced.
Yep.
Obviously, we were gabbing, so she never got a chance to tell us. Right, bye, Wen.
She did. I'm signing. No, big thanks to everyone and take care.
Both chats, but you just.
Yeah, that was it. We just caught up. But it's just a case of diabetics now, they can live as long because the insulin intake, the control is better.
Yep.
So, yeah, I do eat my sweets and my biscuits, my sweets, but I account for all that in my insulin. So, I don't see an issue with it.
Take your meds.
Yep, as long as you take. So, if I actually take my units of insulin compared to what I've got, then I have carbohydrates, I take that, and then I have sweets. Well, I count them in as well. So if I'm counting my sugar intake, it's the exact same as if I wasn't diabetic. My body was trying to accommodate it. But the good thing is, because I'm doing it manually, I can accommodate it better than my body could. That's why we all went that way. If we take too many sweets, whereas with diabetic, I can control it better. So
right.
It's because you're managing it better because of that. I'm not just sitting there like a horse trough. Although, see all the sweets that are in that basket. Oh, see all the sweets that are in that basket. That's all the one with wrappers. So I took all the sweets I got and put all the ones with wrappers in that basket. All the ones without in here, which filled it right to the top. In the last 2 days,
It's not.
I'm already halfway through.
Oh my God.
I know, look at that. Bananas and shrimps and stuff like that. Look, bananas and shrimps, jelly babies, midget gems, false teeth. You remember these ones?
Oh, I loved false teeth.
Yeah.
Wax teeth, wax lips, wax soda bottles. Oh, it's great.
Dummy tips. Look at that. Remember them? Whoop. Remember dummy tips? They're basically, I just love all these. So I got all the classic ones. And I've already eaten half of them, but yum, 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 yum. I'm a bad boy. Where's my insulin? I need to take account. I usually take account what I mean. So in the stream, that's one. I see Doddit's woken up. I wonder if you need to go to the toilet. You two as well. So I'll need to actually go for a quick break to let the two of them out. So, what are you going to talk about? What's next? Oh, right. Colin, Alec, enjoy your hamper. Have fun with it.
What's that?
What are you talking about? I can't have it. How about you salvage the iron brew? My family took the rest of the empire.
Yeah, you were actually telling me that. I can appreciate that because when I was staying with my kids, if that came through, I would have got the oat cakes. They would have taken all the iron brew and all the sweets, all the sweeter stuff, the snowballs, the tea cakes, the caramel wafers. I would have got the oat cakes, and if I was lucky, the basket. So yeah, my kids used to do that with me all the time. But yeah, families are fun with that. Oh, you'll not need that. I'll have that. Yep.
So iron brew, that's not like squash or anything where you have to water it down, is it?
No, it's not. It's a ginger ale. So it's not really. It's like Pepsi. See now you've got Pepsi, you've got Coke, you've got Fanta, you've got Fab, and stuff like that. Iron brew is the same idea.
Okay.
It's just pre-mixed. It's a fizzy juice, as they call it.
Okay.
So, and it tastes.
I know I've had squash and I didn't know if it was similar.
No, The only time I ever have squash nowadays is if I've got a sore throat. Bit of diluted juice in the boiling water just to help the throat down. But no, it's a fizzy juice like Pepsi and Coke and stuff like that. So
I did try a oh god, what was it called? Some fire soda.
That's fire brew.
Yeah, it was nasty.
That was I don't like that either. It's basically they call it it's fire brew. They call it it's fiery. It's like a spicy iron brew, and I had a wee taste of it and never touched it again.
Oh, it was
absolutely. As they say, it was bouffing. Oh.
I don't know what that means, but I love it.
Yeah, bouffing. It's basically it didn't taste very nice. It tasted whereas I used to before I was diabetic, I always used to drink normal iron brew or fat brew, we call it, because obviously you've got diet brew or fat brew. But so I would always drink the normal iron brew. But see now, I used to keep the normal iron brew for when I was having a hypo, but they cut the sugar content because they had the tax on sugar. So a lot of soft drink companies cut the sugar on it. So it's not as good for me because the sugar content is lower. So I have to drink another one. But I now do not like the normal iron brew because it tastes too syrupy. Whereas the diet stuff.
Cutting sugar in Cadbury and chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
I've tasted the sugar. I've tasted the sugar-free stuff, and my sister
for sugar-free stuff.
Right, Thornton's is a bit of this chocolate, but they also do toffees. And my sister, when she learned I was diabetic, she bought me a box of Thornton's toffee, and just handed them to me. And she knew I loved toffee, so I thought she was being really nice to me. And I ate the whole box.
You lived on the toilet for how many years?
Yeah, exactly. And I said to her, I says, what did you do? Those caused a lot of problems for 2 days. And she says, that happened to me as well. She knew what she was doing because somebody gave her sugar-free. And because it's sugar-free, the sugar substitute is also a laxative.
Yeah.
And she
It's all
did it. Yeah, she did that to me deliberately because somebody did it to her.
That's cold.
So she was passing the buck, as they say.
That's cold.
Oh, I never forgot that. So I used to cast that up every year at the same time. You bugger. At Christmas, she would say, I was going to get you toffee, but I decided to get you this instead. So every year she used to always do that with me. She always say, I would get you toffee, but I got you this instead. Sometimes she would buy me the toffee, but because I knew about it, I would spend maybe a week eating it or 2 weeks. So she knew I picked it, but initially I didn't know. And that's what she did it for.
Yeah. Anything that has what they call sugar alcohol in it has a big time laxative effect.
I didn't know that, but I've never heard of that one, sugar laxative. Sorry, sugar alcohol.
Is a sugar alcohol.
I've never seen that one, but I'm aware of that. So I always tell people when they're actually, what can I get? Something I'm going to Thornton's, but they're diabetic, and what's the good thing? I'll say, if you're getting them that, tell them not to eat it all in one sitting. Tell them to spread that over about 5 days. And they'd say why. I say because the sugar substitutes are laxative, and if you don't tell them, they will kill you. Yeah, they would kill you because you did. Now you know you're doing it deliberately. It is not an accident.
That goes up that Mary Poppins song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sugar.
A spoonful of sugar makes the knickers go down. Yep.
Not in the most delightful way.
And not in the most delightful way. Yes, you're correct. But no, I definitely always recommend watching what you And now for the poop jokes. Right, I'm going to take a 5 minute, unless we want to finish it in the next 9 minutes. We'll finish it at 11 o'clock, and that way I don't need to break, and these two can go to the loo. So, what's your plans for this week, Kelly? Colin?
I got it. Well, I got another 4-day week at work, which is nice.
Well, 4 days. I get 5 days every week. If you've got a 4
I have
day.
vacation days to take.
Oh well, that's different. I've got 5 days still left. I'm taking 3 at Christmas, 1 on a Wednesday because I've got a doctor's appointment, and the other one I'm just taking a Friday just so I've used them all up. But yeah, you need to use those.
Years. All right. I love my boss dearly. He's a wonderful man, despite the fact he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but apparently I'm indispensable because he schedules things for days that I'm off and then realizes that he needs me.
Mm-hmm.
So the past 3 years or so, I mean, it's happened periodically throughout the 12 years I've been there, but the past 3 years in particular, I've had to carry vacation days over to the next year, which is not what they want. It's not ideal.
Yeah, the class that has not been allowed. Which
right. I have to get permission, which of course I. But anyway, so this isn't going to happen anymore since my boss is going officially part-time in the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Unofficially part-time now. But anyway, he so I've had a lot of vacation days. So he said to me, "Why are you taking so much in the fall?" And I said, "Well," and I pointed out to him that I had to carry over yet again. And he said, "Oh, yeah, you're right." But anyway, so I had 5 or 6 days left, plus my mom's surgery, so I had to take personal time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 2 2-day weeks in a row, and now have 2 4-day weeks in a row. And this Friday is my last vacation day of the year. But then we get off the Monday and Friday of Christmas.
Yeah.
And the following Monday for New Year's. So I still have 3.
We're lucky. We get the Monday, Tuesday for Christmas, and at the New Year we get the Monday, Tuesday as well.
Oh, we only get the Monday, but we do get Friday the 23rd. So we're having our Christmas party on the 22nd.
Mm-hmm. Ideal. So you can have a hangover and enjoy it.
I still have to drive home 15 miles.
Oh well, you still have to drive home, but see, I'm not going to my work's Christmas party because I would need to drive to it. It's in the middle of nowhere, so I've decided no, I'm not going to a party where I'm drinking soft drinks the whole night and everybody's getting drunk and they're all talking business, because it's normally they have a party where there's other groups, so it seems more, you can see people dancing. If you're up at the bar, you chat to other people, but when it's only us, because we only know each other in work, everybody's chat turns to work, so everybody talks about work. So I just decided a couple of years ago I'm not going back because they enjoy that place and it's just the same group, and we only know them in work. We don't know anything
only
about that.
17 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and several of them are related to each other. So it really is a family environment.
Yeah.
Everybody knows each other. They look out for each other. They take care of each other. So it's good.
Yeah. Prior to our work getting taken over, well, actually, there was a takeover internally before that.
Oh, dear.
The one who managed it wanted to keep it under the original owner's idea, and he treated everybody as family. So the new directors treated everybody as family, knew all their kids, knew everything about them, their hobbies and everything. So he could walk through the office and chat to every single person about their kids or what they're doing at the weekend. And it didn't seem, it was thinking now when he got ousted, the new people actually didn't really know anybody. They could walk through the office and not even nod to people because they didn't know who they were.
Well, that's sad.
And now the newer company have come in as well. They're bigger again, and you're just a smaller cog. I'm okay with that because I went from being the IT systems manager, only person in the organization dealing with it, to being just a support person and somebody else is above me doing that job. So I can actually come home on a Wednesday and stream. I can come home on a Saturday and stream, and no work that I used to do 7 days a week for the Globe. And I'm okay with that. Get the same money and do a lesser job. Yay! I'm old enough to get calmed down a bit. There's a lot of new systems I need to learn, but that's just part and parcel of the job. But I'm happier that it's a bigger company because I got stepped down, and I'm okay with that. Somebody else has all the headaches. Somebody else has all the headaches and the worries. So, but then again, he's happy as well because you can't have a manager who's earning less than the staff because I've still on manager's wages because they had to change me right across from my salary to the other. They upped his salary, so he's happy as well. So it's a win-win right across the board. So we're all happy in it, and it's thingy. So I'm happy I can actually relax more. Don't need to worry about it. So what about what's the plans for the rest?
Well, we're going to take a month off at FFSI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got nothing planned. So, but on the 3rd of January, we're going to talk about Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Why can't you do it on the 2nd?
Colin, shall we?
Because that's a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday, the 2nd, isn't it?
No,
That's 3rd, actually.
it's a Monday.
Yeah, the 2nd is a Monday.
No, sorry, no. Yeah, it's Monday because Monday's bank holiday, isn't it?
Yes.
Shall we?
I just looked.
Why is that means not
When
actually?
is the Tuesday?
My mouse is actually playing silly buggers. It won't even actually show my calendar. Why is it not showing my
The
calendar?
first is Sunday because Christmas is Sunday.
Yeah.
So the 2nd is a Monday.
Yeah.
Shall we, Colin?
We could do.
Okay, I'll change it then.
Yay! I can
Yay! Well, the only thing I've got planned for over the Christmas, New Year is I'm going to see my grandson on Boxing Day.
Well, that's more
My
important.
mother-in-law and father-in-law are staying. The mother-in-law and father-in-law are staying here, but that's over the Christmas period. But they know I stream, so I'll still be streaming at night, even though they're sleeping next door. I just have to actually make sure if I say 2 hours, I'm off for 2 hours rather than just going on and on.
Yeah.
More important than seeing us, PJ.
I'm still actually planning, but Christmas I'm looking forward to. I've got the big enormous gift for my grandson, and my daughter was actually saying, "You told me the size of it," because I looked at the box and I says it's about 1 meter square. I thought it was half that, but this box under the chair, that's about 1 meter square. So I told her, and she panicked and texted me back and says, "What's the measurement of the toy itself, not the packaging?" Because she would assume all that's packaging. And I says, no, the packaging is just very thin round it. I says, however, I got the measurements wrong. The box is 60 centimetres square, not 1 metre square. It just looked enormous because I was obviously expecting this wee box and this big thing turned up, but I thought it was bigger because where it's at, she freaked out and I freaked out.
It's pretty big.
I need to get that in my car. I don't think it'll fit. So I'm measuring it and it fits in my car and it's smaller than I thought.
By next year, we'll probably be old enough that the box will be more interesting than the toy.
Well, exactly. This year, I know what he's getting is not really for his Christmas. It's just for his for next year. So it's one of the development toys because he's got all the ones where you press or you touch and it crinkles and it does this. This is the one where there's things that move, things he can spin, things he can dial. So it's all about his movement and all that. So I'm aware this year it's just all about his progression for what he's got to play with to help him progress. Next year will be fun. He'll be getting something out of so he'll start a collection. Although he did get a monkey from the Build-A-Bear. I bought him a monkey.
Oh.
And my son-in-law says we're going to have a rule. He's got so much at one in, one out. I says every time I buy him something, if I find one in, one out, as long as it's his grandmother's out, I'm okay with that.
The question is,
grandmother is my ex, so if she buys something and I buy something, as long as he throws that out and keeps mine, I'm okay with it.
The question is, of course, being as this is you and you're a geek, when you say you bought him a monkey, do you mean you bought him a monkey or do you mean you bought him monkey?
No, I didn't buy him a monkey. I bought him a monkey because he's young enough, he did no idea. So I bought him a monkey. And I basically dressed it up as Harry Potter because my daughter's a big Harry Potter fan because I knew she would. So I basically got the outfit and the Gryffindor scarf and stuff like that because she's been reading Harry Potter since it came out. she gets annoyed when people try to explain the films to her because she was reading the books. She's got first editions, so she's been reading them that long, and she gets annoyed when people try and explain Harry Potter to her. She still reads Harry Potter, and she's been. I used to stand when a new book came out at midnight at the shops open. I would be standing in the queue with all the kids, with my daughter because she wants to. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I used to queue up at midnight for the books.
So my dad used to, but my daughter read them, so I didn't read them. But I used to queue up with them.
Yeah, I queued up for that. I don't have kids.
But it's when people actually, I know, but it's the fact is when people explain the films to her, she gets annoyed. But when I got the monkey, I was looking for stuff to put it on, and I could have got the Spider-Man, or I could have got the Riddler. And as you can, well, you can't see, but see up here, you should be able to see him. No, he's higher up. Lauren Hardy. Oh, where's the Riddler? He should be up there somewhere. He's probably hiding behind something. But I've got a teddy bear that my daughter bought me for my 50th. And he's got a Spider-Man outfit. He's got a Harley Davidson outfit. And now he's got the Riddler outfit. So he has, because when I was in, I was thinking, get that for the monkey for the rain. But nah, I'll just buy it for my teddy bear. And I basically got him a Harry Potter because I knew my daughter wouldn't actually say, oh, well, he won't use that because it's Harry Potter as well for her son. So she'll keep it.
I don't mind it.
My daughter's actually still got her teddy bear from when she was one.
Wow.
So she has. So she'll keep it. I know she will. So I'm okay with that.
I don't mind so much people explaining the films to me. I just say, yes, I've seen them and read the books. What I object to is the Harry Potter actors, actually.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think most of them are, well, ungrateful brats.
Yeah, basically.
To Joe Rowling and they treat her like dirt.
Well, actually, I would say that the actors that were kids, the older actors.
Oh, they're all behind. They're basically right behind her.
Well, see, Helena Bonham Carter came out and supported her and Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Was it Helena Bonham Carter did that recently?
It was Helen Bonham Carter, and she actually got slated for it, so she did, and she just basically says, "I don't care."
Bonham Carter's too big; she doesn't have to care.
Exactly, that's the thing. They expect themselves. They expect a nothing actress spewing off. Expects some of these big names to actually do the same. And the good thing is, some of the big names go,
yeah,
and that's it. And I quite. Helena Bonham Carter, there was a couple of movies she was in I was not too big a fan of, but it's not as if she was a bad actress in them. It was just they were gumph movies. And then when you see interviews about them, she turns around and say, some people just don't like them. That's just the way it is. Some people love them. It wasn't a case of it was their fault for not liking them. She just says some people didn't like them.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I was aware of it or not, but I think I've forgotten it. But as I recently discovered, her husband made the only thing I've actually watched recently that I enjoyed. So,
what was that?
Her husband's Tim Burton.
Oh, they're not together anymore.
Are they not?
No, they're not.
Oh, because I thought I saw something about it because he made Wednesday, which I liked.
Together. But I thought I just sworn they split, but whatever.
See, I think they have split. It was a very amicable one.
Yeah, she's a smart lady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like her, I like her, even if you don't love what she was in.
No, because I saw something. I thought something about it because, what's to say? Because
I said corrected, but I could.
No, maybe not. I mean, maybe it was. Maybe I misread it. Maybe they were and haven't. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it was an older article being referred to, but because I was aware of that, because I'm not a Tim Burton fanboy or anything, but I won't watch something just because Tim Burton made it. But he made Wednesday, and I liked Wednesday, so obviously I had that in mind when I heard that.
Yeah, according to Google, they split back in May.
Maybe that's what the article she was talking about.
Yeah. Well, in that case, it's very recent. Well, relatively recent. So,
I had to show that because the two of them are snoring their head off. The two of them woke up and they were getting a wee bit antsy as if they needed out, and then I just turned around and the two of them are lying there sleeping. So that's why I dug out the camera to show them.
You need a second camera for doggy cam.
Yeah.
Just a little window down the bottom of the screen with the doggy cam.
See, the thing is, I've got the 2 cameras. I could set it up. However, because they could go from there to there, that's why I actually got the wide angle. So if I need to, I could just
Was
tip it
it
up
Mr.
and
Wade
down,
used to do that?
they
Someone
could be
did that.
seen there or there. So that's why the wide cam was brought in, and I actually set it so the 2 dogs could be seen. So, because I know most people, if it's a choice between me, my stuff, or the dogs are first, the stuff is second, and I'm just here to actually talk about it. Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't here now, that stuff was there, and the 2 dogs were sitting in the seat, I would get more subscribers. If I could get the dogs to sit there and just go, I would have them there, and I would just actually be talking over the top of them to make it sound. But I don't have a Yorkshire accent for my Yorkies, so I'll need to get wee Scottish Terriers. I need to get wee Scottish Terriers and go.
Well, it could be worse. At least they're not chocolate Yorkies.
Do you know when the first time we went to get them groomed, the guy actually, because I told him 2 Yorkies, they need to be tidied up because and the hair needs to be cut down. And I come up and they were almost shaved. And I said to the guy, "What did you do?" He says, "But they're corkies. That's what corkies look like." And I says, "They're not corkies, they're Yorkies." He says, "Are you sure?" I can show you their mum and their dad. My sister's got both their parents, both Yorkies. He says, "Oh, I thought one of their parents was a corgi." A corky. So he basically shaved the dogs because corgis have got it completely shaved.
Yeah,
and they're basically very tight. No, they're Yorkies. I like the skirt on them, so I do. And they basically shaved it right round, and I had to wait until they grew again. And the second time after the cut, it was they had the skirt. So I know my wife says just get them so they don't have tangles and stuff like that. No, Yorkies have a skirt, so I'll keep the skirt and I'll brush them down anytime when they're needed. But I hate when people turn around and say, "Oh, it's easier, just get them shaved." That's like turning around and saying, "No, traditionally this happens, but it's easier if you don't wear that." Traditionally, people wear the Scottish kilt and all that. Yes, it's not actually real Scottish tradition because it was introduced about 140 years ago. They introduced the kilt from England, introduced it for the regiments because it was easier and it had a look of Scottish. But the thing is, it's traditional to wear a kilt and outfit. So you wouldn't just wear you get people who wear the kilt, the boots, and just wear it day to day. But most people, when they're going to a do, it's a full outfit. But if you go, well, it's easier just to wear a tux because there's trousers, then it's just because something's easier doesn't make it more traditional. I like where the tradition stands.
I think you say that. I've got a feeling I've seen somewhere that there's a Scottish regiment, or there was, because they've changed them so many times, which didn't wear kilts, but they wore tartan trousers.
Yeah, they wore trews, so they did. Yes, they're called trews. Yeah, there was one. I think that their dress uniform had trews, but typical. You never really saw them in them because they weren't actually a lot of the up front troops were all like Black Watch, the Cameron Highlanders and stuff like that, and their dress uniform was the kilt. See, like my kilt, I've got the Black Watch tartan, which is basically black tartan on a black kilt.
All right.
So it's not a black skirt; it's a black kilt, and it's got a tartan on it. It's just the tartan, the black is 2 shades of black. So I like that. Whereas because my tartan, my Scottish side's tartan is very Stuartish and it's very red. And I'm not keen on the red.
That Italian tartan.
I like the green and black, so I like the MacLeod tartan. But I shouldn't really be wearing the MacLeod tartan because it's not the tartan I should be wearing. But I get away with it. I can wear the Jimison tartan because my surname, it means Jacob is son of Jacob is
James.
or James,
Hence,
and
Jacobins being the supporters of King James.
yes, and the second part of my name means son of. So I'm a Jimison if I really want to push that luck. So when people actually say that's an uncommon name, I say no, it's not, because it's as common as Jimison in Scotland. And they'll say, well, I said, but that's what my name means, son of James and Jimison.
Well, doesn't
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, isn't Iago James as well? As in Santiago St. James.
That's
in Spanish, Portuguese.
It's Portuguese, but you've also Spanish. What was it?
Diego is James in Spanish.
Yes, that's what it is. I'm trying to think. There was the. Believe it or not, I learned that from a Sharps novel. The Sharps rifles. They basically went to. It was the Castle de whatever, so it is, and it says that's St. James, Santiago de Compostela.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that was in Sharp's books, the Santiago de Compostela, and then somebody says Santiago, and they say, and one of the Irish regiment, the guys from the Irish, it was in the same the Sharp's regiment says that that's St. James. And the guy who won Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, one of his questions getting over 100,000 was, who was the patron saint of Spain? Yes, St. James Santiago.
Years ago in California, in the city of Los Angeles, their city seal had a cross in it, which commemorated the fact that it was settled by a church.
Mm-hmm.
And they set up missions all over the place.
Well, Los Angeles is Los Angeles is
Los Angeles. It's Our Lady of something something of the Angels. It's a long.
Yeah.
But anyway, they there was a move by the left. Well, they're all left in California, but there was a move to get rid of the cross in the city seal.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, whom we in the States refer to as a rhino, as in Republican in name only, was on the side of the people who wanted to get rid of the cross because, the separation of church and state and all that nonsense, which is not in the Constitution. It's in a letter by Thomas Jefferson, but
he wanted to do it to make sure religion didn't actually, because there was a few of the founders weren't as religious, and they knew that people's religion could supersede it. So it wasn't, as they said, it wasn't in the Constitution. It was just
it's a letter by Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, but it was an understanding that the people who were very religious didn't actually use the religion as the part of it.
The Constitution actually itself just says that the state shall not establish a religion.
I was going to say, doesn't you basically mean there's no state religion?
Yeah.
But anyway, so my brother, the rhino, is in favor of getting rid of this cross and the seal. So he might be a lawyer and I might merely be a paralegal. But I went after him and I said, really? So we can't have Christian symbolism in California anymore. He said, no, we can't do that. I said, okay, well, first of all, you're going to have to change the name of your city. We also have to change the names of San Diego, San Francisco,
anything, San
Jose, Sierra Madre. And then, of course, there's the double whammy of San Luis Obispo, which is St. Louis, the bishop. And successfully managed to shut him up for about 5 minutes.
Probably, in fact, just about any place in California that's got a Spanish name, which is probably just about everywhere in California, isn't it?
New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, the entire Southwest. It was originally owned by Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's church names everywhere.
But that's the thing. It's the same as up here, right? There is the Scottish drive to put Gaelic everywhere because Gaelic's a Scottish language, but less than 3%, I think, of people speak it. and it's only in certain areas. So when you're driving up, nobody's reading the Gaelic. It's just there for show. And it's because some nationalist says we need to show our language, but you don't speak it either. Yeah, I mean, there's one school in Scotland that teaches it. A couple of schools, they've got the option to teach it, but there's only one school in Scotland that actually teaches Gaelic. And in Glasgow, there's more Gaelic speakers than there is anywhere else, because there is an area in Glasgow, it was settled and it had the Gaelic school. And it's still there. But so Glasgow's got I think the biggest Gaelic speaking community. And you're sitting there thinking, but that's still only a very, very small percentage of the population. And you're spending all that money to put Gaelic on it. You might as well actually put Polish on it, because there's probably more Poles in Scotland now than there is Gaelic speakers.
Yeah.
But to me, that's crazy, because you want to waste money. And that's what I dislike. I hate waste. So if somebody could justify something, I don't have an issue spending the money on it. But I'll give you an example. The biggest example I've ever seen of waste, right? One of their streets in Glasgow, Cathedral Street. It's a big long street, right? But there used to be bus stops which were three-sided. So you would come in the back. So you'd walk along the road and it would be opened at the back, so you could come in and sit. You could watch for the bus, and then when the bus came, there was one wee bit where you could stand, put your hand out, so you were still under the shelter. However, the way I look at it, somebody was driving from or getting a lift or something from, or getting a taxi from the central station, the Queen Street station, from there along to the main council building, right? So you go along that street, and those things looked bad, but they were sturdy. They kept the rain off, they kept the wind off, because the rain and the wind used to go sideways because of the buildings downside me, and it was always windy. So if the wind came down was fine, but if the rain came down, the wind pushed it sideways. So you were getting it. So this shelter was great. So if you had to stand, you're standing in the shelters. Somebody replaced every shelter with this modern art looking thing, and it's got one side, the side of the road, it goes up, and then it's got a roof. I've never seen anybody standing under it. They all stand against the wall for all the buildings, because the rain goes sideways. At least if they stand behind the buildings, it gives them some protection. So somebody's actually spent money replacing all these shelters that were used for shelters that are just look good and nobody uses. And that is a waste of money. So somebody thought it looked good. They probably never used a bus in their life, but they're driving by and thinking, looks good now.
But so I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think that they're pushing for all this Gaelic. But I would have thought that most of the people that speak Gaelic or Gaelic. Gaelic is in Scotland.
Gaelic.
It's Gaelic and Gaelic in Ireland.
Yeah.
I would have thought the problem is that most of the people that speak Gaelic are white. Being white is a problem in Scotland. So why do they want to push Gaelic, which is a white supremacist language?
But the problem is they can actually now get away with it.
Sorry, I had to use a dickhead.
No, but they can get away with it because they're an indigenous people.
I thought the only indigenous people in Europe were the Sami of...
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm sure I saw something told me that.
Yeah. But they're indigenous when it suits them, because guess what? Scottish nationalists.
Well, I've stopped being white. I'm now an English. I'm now an English indigenous. I'm now an indigenous English person.
See, I'm an indigenous British person.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, my ancestors came from Britain. One of them didn't. So a quarter of me isn't. The rest of me is still Ireland and Scotland. So I'm okay with that.
I was saying, I mean, I used to be British. Now I say I'm English first, British second.
Yeah, do you know the biggest thing is
it being okay to be Scottish and Welsh, but not English.
It's the part when they actually go on about reparations. I'll say, so one of my granders has to give three of my grandparents money. And he says, how? I says, well, if we're going down that, then his ancestors were Roman citizens, and they invaded Britain and subjugated the people of Britain. So these three were people of Britain. So that granddad needs to give these granddads money.
Yeah.
That's how stupid it is. So, and because of that, then I need to now give myself money because I'm a quarter Italian, I'm a quarter Irish and half Scottish. So I need to give myself money. I need to give myself 3 times as much money as I can afford to give myself.
Well, I'm sure Kelly saw that, but was it either Trevor Noah's Ark or Don Lemonlat's made the mistake of asking a historian if they should pay reparations, and his face when she said yes we should. We should go back to the source, so all the Africans should pay reparations for the slaves they sold.
Yes, I saw that one, and they should actually give money to the British, who over 1,500 British sailors died trying to stop it, and you could see the face. It was let's finish here.
I'd be tempted to say his face went white.
That professor, it basically, I saw that. That was a great one.
Oh.
Well, how many hundreds of thousands of Northern soldiers died to free the slaves? I mean, don't their families get something?
Oh,
thank you.
I picked this up today. The fair, right? It's called the historical aspect of New Mills, right?
Where's
And
New
there's a bit in it. It's only when you mentioned it, it actually mentions the Civil War.
Oh.
There is a header. Where is it? I'm just looking for the headers because it's there. New Mills Weavers and the American Civil War.
Where's New Mills?
New Mills is the town I stay in. It's in Ayrshire Valley in Scotland.
Oh, okay, Scottish, got it.
It's basically so New Mills Weavers. New Mills was known for its lace and weaving it in the past. And it's basically at the time of the American Civil War, the people of New Mills suffered badly because of the shortage of cotton from America due to the blockade of the southern cotton ports. The result is a severe fall of the output from their looms, and the consequence hardship affected nearly everyone. Despite this, Lincoln and his policies of abolition of the slavery was staunchly supported. That's actually in the wee book I bought today.
Wow.
The historical aspect of New Mills is basically, and it's about how the American Civil War impacted us. Nothing to do with all those people dying, it impacted us. It's typical historical balderdash, as you say. But it's basically, there's a war over there. There's a lot of people dying. But we have to stop
get
the material. You know what I mean?
The important thing about that, PJ, is that last sentence. Is the last sentence. Despite this, despite the economic problems, the anti-slavery was supported strongly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the important
thing.
And
it wasn't because they disagreed with them. It was only because the southern ports were blockaded.
Yeah,
if they weren't blockaded and they were fighting, they would have actually still taken the cotton and given them the money.
But the thing is, as I said, I mean, which is why I think, with all due respect, Cal, there is a difference. Your guys were involved in a civil war, fine, and yes, all respect to them, but we weren't. We were doing something from a different angle. That's all I'm saying. And no disrespect to those of your troops that fought in the Civil War. They did it, as you say, like they fought for their side, etc., etc. I think there are differences.
Oh dear.
That was Roman. Roman put that in the private chat. Roman put that in the Twitter chat. I thought it was hilarious. It just went. He literally just put it in. How? Am
I the only one who's interested in Stuart there?
In my day, I used to defeat the Germans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why, but it's under his face that I'm thinking. I was just
Cam. Campbell's forever. I'm in a minority and I want my reparations.
I'm
Sorry,
still seeing
Colin.
Patrick Stewart in there as well for some reason.
I know.
Just in
I
case.
thought that was Patrick Stewart initially.
Yeah.
So I did, but it's not. They've just aged him. It's not the greatest aging one, but they didn't age him too much. But it's still. I think it did look like when I first thought. I thought, why did they put Picard in a chair and call it Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
But it's not.
Well, the weird thing is, Barry, as we were saying on yesterday on the no Father channel, with that is that all these rumors come out and then they say no, none of this is true, none of this is true, none of this is true.
Then it is true.
And yeah, and then okay, people are thinking, well, okay, well, there's this. Let's put it this way: there's nothing in that trailer that makes those rumors impossible. Everything in the trailer either does nothing about the rumors or supports at least some aspect of the rumors.
Well, if you look at their history of the way they put out trailers, the one person who there only was in for a couple of seconds, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yeah, if she was meant to be in it and starring with Harrison Ford, why was there no clips of the two of them together? You only saw one with her in the background, sort of standing in silhouette, and another one you saw her head on, but it was for a couple of seconds. So in effect, it was all about Harrison Ford, which means that Harrison Ford is probably that's all you're going to see of him, and the rest of it is going to be about her.
Well, I said,
because that's the way they do it.
I can tell you why I think most of those rumors are true in two words. First word is Kathleen, the second word is Kennedy. She's got her fingers all over it. She's thoroughly, it's her pet project. She's incapable of not destroying it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I said because the rabbi was talking about it earlier on. He reviewed. I said that. Does anybody actually think Disney's capable of not wokifying something up these days?
No.
No.
No. In a word, no.
I said I saw one thing about Wednesday. There was
everybody in OC liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I really did. I wasn't sure, but I'm not a huge Addams Family fan. Not that I don't like it or anything. It's just I've seen the two. I've seen the two movies. I'm aware of the series, but I'm not. I'm not a fan. I've seen it, liked it, but so I'm not deep into the lore or anything. And I quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it. There were 2 or 3 bits in there that I thought, oh dear, 2022. But the way they were done in a way that actually almost made fun of them anyway. Like they have the dance at the academy, and one of the characters comes out and says that the theme of the dance is global warming and extinction. And that's the last you hear of it. And she's the ditzy blonde character. She's literally the ditzy blonde. Best friend sort of thing, There was, I noticed there was, the other thing I noticed was people whinging about the only black characters being made to be bad. Well, if you actually watch it, all of those characters, they're not evil, but they have redemption. They're all young kids. They have redemption arcs for starters. I just think, I did quite enjoy it, and I hope there's going to be a second series.
I don't know.
Well, it's not. It's like everything else. It's not to everybody's taste. Not everybody likes the same things.
That's a good thing, as Roman was saying when we were talking on Father Stream on Friday.
Yeah.
As Roman says, we were all disagreeing about things. But the 4 of us were still chatting and actually talking about the parts of it we liked or the parts of it we didn't like. Yeah. And not one of us fell out with each other. So it was me, the Father, Mega Geek, and Roman. and we were all discussing certain movies and how one of us liked it, one of us didn't, other ones there, well, I didn't like this part, and we were all discussing it. And surprise, surprise, we actually all still got on, and we still chatted about what we thought about certain aspects of it, and we didn't fall out with each other. How disgraceful was that? We were actually disagreeing with something and still being friendly and still getting on really well with each other. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was just looking up my full meaning of my name. My name means rock, twin, rock, Jameson. But my full name. So I've got 2 rocks in my name.
So you're caught between 2.
One derivation of my one in the middle. It could be rock, twin, handsome.
As in the rock on which I set my church.
Yes.
It was St. Peter, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I'm echoing from somewhere now.
Yeah, and also rock is it could be either rock or the German derivation handsome for my family, the Scottish family name. But the other Scottish family name in my name means twin. And then you've got my Italian name, which means son of James. So it's basically 2 rocks in my name. And I'm as my mum used to always say, I was fitless. I would walk across a flat floor and trip over my own feet. So basically, rock or close to the ground. That's me. So it was only because actually I was looking at the tartan and I actually got the tartan completely wrong. Somebody had obviously told me about the tartan and it was red, but it's not. It is a bluey, I like blue. So it is. The tartan actually looks really cool. I need to actually get that tartan. So well, because that suits, because I like that colour of tartan. And the modern tartan, you've got the reproduction of the classic, you've got the modern, or you've got the ancient. And the ancient tartan is the one I'm not keen on. The modern one is really nice. So it is.
This is one of the things about the film that we shall not mention. Precisely.
I knew you were going to go there.
Well, as I said, great. I mean, so this is such a historically accurate film that in a time when both sides would have looked pretty much the same in terms of arms and equipment, you've got Mel Gibson and co. wearing makeup that hasn't existed for thousands years out of date.
The ward.
That hasn't existed for 1,000 years, and wearing patterns of clothing that won't exist for another 500. Yes.
They were wearing plaid rather than kilts, but yeah.
Yeah, but as I say, I believe plaid itself didn't tartan per se, as I understand it, and I will bow to your superior knowledge from the area which deals with tartans. But my understanding is that the tartans didn't actually sort of come in, as you said, until 16th or 17th centuries.
You're right, because it was when weaving became more and dyeing became more.
Yeah, it's true. Think about it.
So
and that's the thing.
The ancient tartans aren't that ancient.
That's correct. Basically, because you remember, you think about it, you go back 500 years, the technology to dye clothing and then to weave as well. So they would have had to weave, they would have had to dye and weave it in those patterns. Yeah, they've got the time to actually work out all the patterns and weave it in such a way that they could actually reproduce the patterns for the whole clan. That's basically when people had more time, so there was more a healthier society, let's always say. So when the Battle of Bannockburn, you didn't have a load of guys with kilts actually fighting a load of guys in red. You had a load of guys in red and a load of guys in whatever outfits they could.
So Jamie McCrimmon runs around in a kilt. How accurate is that?
Say that again.
Jamie McCrimmon walks around in a kilt.
He would have probably been about 100 years too early.
Oh, because it was
a battle of Culloden. That was 1790.
Yeah, I think I'm from my understanding of it, and I said again, this is what I've been told and remember. I think that they were by then, the 16 to 1700s. As my understanding is when tartan really came about.
Yeah. Culloden was 1745, the Battle of Culloden, 1745. But the thing is, it was introduced as a regimental thing. So the Scottish regiments, it was so they could have the regiment. They couldn't have the regiment just like me. They had to have the regiment, and that's why so the tartans were starting to come in to represent. So what they did was they created the kilt, so it was more regimental. So yes, they might be that time wearing plaid. So Jamie wearing a kilt didn't work. If he was wearing plaids, he would have got away with it, and that's the difference. So him wearing the kilt was about 100 years, because later on the kilt was easier to wear to represent your tartan. So the kilt was brought in for military purposes for regimentals, and it was the tartans were for the clans were actually designed by English. So people would wear plaid, but they wouldn't actually all have the same tartan on the plaid. It was just whatever the people who had rolled them out and actually made them look. So it was darker and green. So it wasn't just one colour, it was a mix of colours.
Well, I just Googled it, and apparently Jamie McCrimmon is wearing a made-up tartan that apparently is closest to Logan.
There you go.
So it's a Wolverine tartan then.
I'm sorry?
He's a Wolverine tartan then.
Oh, I don't know.
He's Logan.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
He's using the Logan name rather than the Logan tartan. Come on, to bugger you. But yeah, he's making up. But the thing is, they wouldn't have actually used a tartan. It was a known tartan for that. Just for the simple fact is, if they did, then somebody would have said something about, oh no, our clan didn't do that, or our clan wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And that's why they wanted to make it a very generic. It'd be like if you had somebody who was a soldier in it, they would actually make it so maybe the sleeves get ripped off, so you wouldn't be able to see the regimental badge. So he would be a British soldier, an American soldier, but you wouldn't see any flashes to show what regiment or what battalion he was in or platoon. They would just actually be a generic American soldier or a generic British soldier. It's like War Games, the bit when he goes in to the bat and you've got the what you call them, the Union and the Confederate soldiers sitting together.
Yeah.
They're basically just wearing basic outfits. There's no flashing because they were just American outfits, because they didn't want to have something that showed a regiment just across the board. So you had red coats, similar idea. They only had the red coat. You didn't see what colour their buttons were and their flashes. It was for the same reason as the tartan being a generic one. They just wanted to make it generic because you know what people were like. Even back then when they were filming it, it would be a case of our clan didn't do that. So
no, understood. I figured that.
There's also the fact that, of course, Jamie's entire era is in black and white.
Right.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to make a move.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll finish off there. Remember, Wednesday night is going to be Roughnecks, and Colin, you're going to cheer that night.
I'll cheer that.
Equals Roughnecks. So it's the Roughnecks, the TV show, rather than which was a shoot off of the
Starship Troopers.
I know.
Starship
Troopers.
Getting laid again. Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah Brightman's song to be sold for the theme tune for that.
Yeah. And so if you can watch any of the Roughnecks, I've got 8 from the whole thing. I don't know if they're the same set, but they'll have at least something in common with it. So we can talk about it, and that's what we want to do. So anybody can watch Roughnecks, get a hold of Watch Roughnecks, and join us on Wednesday to watch Roughnecks. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm a big Starship Troopers fan, and I've not seen the movies, but I've not seen the TV show.
Next Saturday, I'll probably be an hour late after meeting Colin and Jim for the day.
That should be fun. We've got a short video going, hi.
Well, I was thinking
next Saturday, I've got a Christmas party.
Yeah, well, enjoy your Christmas party.
You enjoy
And
it?
guys, I hope you enjoyed the hampers. Well, I know, Alec, your family enjoyed the hamper. Colin, I hope you enjoy the hamper and no slagging the Iron Brew now.
I'm not slagging the Iron Brew. I've got about
He
2/3
loves
of the
the
bottle
Iron
still left.
But I hope you enjoyed it. It was a wee Scottish treat down south. I sent 5 of them out. So I did.
It was.
So as soon as I saw him, I thought, I know somebody who occasionally sort of has a wee slag at my Iron Brew. So I decided the Iron Brew had to go your way. And the only problem was the guys in the States, Kelly, Roman, Stephen, couldn't get it because it was too expensive sending
don't
food and drink stuff over.
I can buy Iron Brew here.
Diet Iron Brew is my favourite one of choice because it's less syrupy. The normal Iron Brew's got a wee bit of sweet stickly, but that's because I'm diabetic and I've been for 23 years.
There's different
And
brands of Iron Brew.
I'm on Diet Iron Brew because I now find normal Iron Brew too
right.
syrupy.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant there were different brands. I'm sorry.
No, Diet Iron Brew. There is different brands. You over here you can get Garvey's Iron Brew, which is rubbish. It's just a fake. There's Lidl does fake Iron Brew as well. I don't touch any of them. It has to be Bar's Iron Brew, your other national drink.
Well, I will be on the lookout for it. Like I said, I can get it here.
Uh-huh. Diet Iron Brew is my one of choice because I'm diabetic, but
Right.
Iron Brew of any.
I don't like the sugary stuff because it's too sweet anyway.
Yeah. Well, you can tell the difference between the normal Iron Brew and the Diet Iron Brew. The Diet's got a silver top, and the normal stuff has got a blue top.
My place doesn't sell Diet Iron Brew, so maybe I'll just bring it home and mix it with some seltzer water to thin it out.
See, that's terrible not selling Diet. I mean, you might enjoy it, but you can't because of the amount of sugar in it. Although there's a third less sugar in it than there used to be, because they actually reduced the sugar content because of the laws. And I'm surprised you can get it because do you know where the biggest Iron Brew factory is in the world?
I'm not looking forward to lower sugar Galaxy bars. Lower sugar fruit pastels. I'm not amused.
I am not amused with that. Fruit pastels and Galaxy. I like Galaxy fluffy.
It's still closer to the original than Coca-Cola is.
Yeah, well,
Coca-Cola hasn't been the real thing since 1929.
Yep.
With cocaine in it.
Yeah,
correct.
Do you know where the biggest? We'll finish on this. Where is the biggest Iron Brew factory in the world?
Poland.
Paisley? Aberdeen?
No, believe it or not.
I'm guessing somewhere in America.
Russia.
All right.
Russia are they basically. That's why people said Russia. The people should stop trading with Russia, and bars effectively got a plant over there. So they basically says, well, we can stop trading because they can supply their own people, and we'll just get the money. So we'll stop trading because we've set it all up already. So bars has got a plant over in Russia, and it is a big plant. So when I was over visiting for the 75th anniversary, I was happy because I could get Iron Brew. Because normally it's only Pepsi or Coke. You could get Iron Brew in Moscow. It was great.
Well, I will go to my Scottish shop and get some Iron Brew in your honor.
Yeah, Diet Iron Brew is better because it's not as sweet, but the normal stuff has got lower sweet sugar content. So what we'll do is we'll finish there. Thank you all, because I know I can see Alex about to fall asleep, and my dogs are actually starting to move.
Well, it's only going on midnight for you all.
Yeah, well, my dogs are starting to move, so they're obviously sitting crossing their legs going, he's still on, he's still on.
Good night, everybody.
Right, so good night, one and all. Thank you for joining us again, and have a good one. So, ladies and gents, bye.